takes precedent, okay?
No, I get it. I understand it. It's a valid reason.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that I'm listening from now on, I promise.
Yeah, I'm totally sure you will be. At least you have an excuse for not listening this time, you know? Sometimes you saw something interesting, there was something shiny.
Yeah, shiny things do tend to catch my eye. That is a very good point. But I will do my very best to listen. I think it should be part of my job.
We've tried to limit the amount of shiny things around the Caster Blanc, but obviously technology doesn't bite shiny things, so it's hard to completely rule them out.
I had to really fight to get my my tablet up here because they were like, no, it's a bit too shiny. Who knows what you could have on that thing?
Yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah, it is definitely problematic. Well, we do have a couple of junglers being banned away here as the Pantheon not going to get through this time around. The Vi also going to be taken away once again, this time on the blue side. It's kind of interesting because I feel like Croco has been one of our better Vi players. The Orianna has really been creeping up into first ban status, but now we've got this weird Varus, Azir, Taliyah situation, and the bros get to choose.
We've seen Orianna really commonly banned against DM Freaks. I think a lot of people respecting that Ori Nocturne combo that they were running for a while.
Ah, Yunara's up. Never mind.
Yunara slammed down. It's going to get answered, though, with the Varus, it seems, by DM Freaks. So a pick that can obviously punish you out in lane and also outrange you in the later stages. Looks like they're not definitely going to lock that in now, though. Looking at the Azir for Bulldog, which is his most played pick. Even with the Taliyah available, I think they'll probably just go for this one. And I think Azir, definitely something they'll have to prioritize. You could just go Azir and then a jungler, and then go on that third pick, the Varus. Looks like they'll just take the Varus in this situation. Yep, Trundle is available, though, and that's something Purishik's heavily prioritized and would be good into a lot of the junglers left available.
Yeah, this is the thing. I feel like Trundle has kind of skyrocketed in priority, especially looking at what we have right here. I think Trundle is kind of annoying for Yunara to deal with at the same time, so maybe Croco just locks that away here.
This says to me that the Freaks are a little concerned about maybe Bro locking a top laner here, and if they left the Varus till 3, they wouldn't be able to answer. Like if they'd gone like Azir, Trundle, Varus on 3, couldn't respond, could be problematic. Maokai ends up coming.
We're Maokai Yuneing. That's just what we're going to do.
I mean, this is a lot of aggressive teamfight power, you know? You have this long-range backline for the side of the DM Freaks, who can obviously apply a lot of poke pressure, but, I mean, Bro are just looking to charge you down and explode you, and I think the Trundle coming out here makes a lot of sense. The Pillar can obviously do a moderate job of disrupting some of this and kiting away, but also making that first target, if the Maokai does come in, that much squishier.
Yep. Not the most massive value into the Maokai as it would have been in other years, because he does like to build a fair bit of AP these days.
Yeah, I also feel like he can be quite non-committal. You know, if you have a lot of other tanks, you have to lead the charge, get in. Maokai can kind of just ult from a distance and play it safer. But it definitely feels like these comps both have a theme they've lent towards and sort of goals for how they're going to play out the team fight. And now it's really about the picks that will sort of consolidate that and leaning towards those. Still no looking towards the top laners, though.
Yep.
Gwen will be banned out by the DM Freaks, which I think makes a lot of sense, because with all that diving forwards, these threats coming through, a Gwen on top of that would just be such a nightmare to deal with.
Not to mention the fact that the Bros can just ban the Aurora, and then they can choose either the Gwen or the Rumble, depending on whether that's going to be banned away here by the DN Freaks. I wouldn't even be surprised if the DN Freaks do just take away the Rumble, just because Red Side Rumble, all those shenanigans. Not going to be preferable. But the Rumble's actually going to be banned on blue, which is kind of odd here. It's going to be eliminating that option. I'm very interested in what Morgan's going to be playing. Maybe he just goes back to the Croc. Maybe it's just time to be an ancient reptile in the top lane.
Yeah, it's interesting what angle DM Freaks might take here, because, I mean, the Aurora is still open as an option. I feel like Morgan has played the Aurora a lot himself, also played a lot of tanks, so I feel like he's got a fair few amount of options. The Ambessa comes out as a ban.
Okay. We are really getting to the bottom of the barrel here as far as the top lane is concerned, and I'm expecting that Dudu's just going to play Cassante. I don't know why. I just feel like that's going to be the way. And this could definitely be a Rakan angle here for Quantum as well, if they do want to lock that one away. Otherwise, they hold on to that for counter pick, and they take something for Dudu, and he can play a tank. I mean, so the Scion's going to be the option.
If they go the Scion here, I feel like Morgan's pretty fine with it.
Oh, yeah, it's just Cho'Gath, isn't it?
He can go the Cho'Gath, he can go the Aatrox. I feel like he's pretty comfortable into this, so I don't think he's really too afraid playing into the Scion. Instead, they go for Rel.
I think it's safer.
Yep, I think you don't give the information over to Morgan. Quantum, his first match when he came in the LCK was on this role and he had a really good performance. And with the Alistair gone as well, I don't think there's too many matchups you're going to be that uncomfortable on with the Rel.
Well, we're going to see what Polo's going to be playing first by the looks of things. Of course, Morgan does need to blind pick something. Why do I feel like it's going to be Nah? That's a Xerath. I don't think that's what's going to be happening here on the bottom side, but it is going to be the Nautilus. Hype just messing with us a little bit here. And now, please, Lord, show us what you will be playing. What do you think it's going to be? Is it just going to blind Aatrox? Something like that?
I feel like you could get put in an uncomfortable position if you do that.
Yeah. Aatrox, Nah, or Renekton are my expectations. And it's going to be the Renekton.
I think the Renekton feels... I think Morgan's obviously very confident on it, and I think it's unlikely that Duda's going to bring something out that's going to be that bad of a matchup. Yep. But I think it was the right call from DN Freaks putting the Sion last, because otherwise Morgan would have taken a matchup like the Aatrox, like the Cho'Gath, that would have been a lot more comfortable. And instead, Morgan's blinding, and now I think Dudu's in a much more comfortable spot. And I think ultimately DN Freaks been pretty happy with what they got. The big sort of elephant in the room is the Yunara, right? Really powerful pick that, if unchecked, can be a massive problem. But the DN Freaks composition, you have the Varus, right? You have ranges that are quite hard. The Azir can be pretty problematic to deal with. Bro really need to close the distance with that composition, and they definitely have tools to do so. But I think both compositions interact in different ways, and it really comes down to the execution. If DN Freaks get a lead, and if they don't do a traditional DN Freaks fumble, this is definitely winnable, but you know, those are big ifs.
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs and buts. I also think that Croco and Closer are on a pretty dynamic duo here in the Maokai Yone. It's something that we often look to when the bros are playing. Will that 1-2 punch of the mid-jungle actually make things happen? And there is certainly potential there. Yunara, a big one for Hype. As you say, this champion has been deemed just too powerful here in the LCK, but it has slipped through. But basically everything has. Trundle, Azir, and Varus all on the red side here is kind of ridiculous. And so we'll see whether the bros can overcome it with just the Yunara as their massive power pick that they bring into this one. It's Pro versus DNF though. Does the draft even matter? Let's get into it.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
My goodness. DNF fans are absolutely deafening here in Lol Park today. Even though they have been eliminated, they cannot make it to the play-in stage. This round robin will be the final one for this team, or at least, you know, the next little mini round robin that we have. Round 5 is going to be the last one.
I just think it's so cool. They just never stopped. They just never stopped showing up. Yep. Never stopped just enjoying.
It's not about faith. It's just about loving this team.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And once again, DNF have a pretty nice scaling composition. You would say that the Varus isn't necessarily the hardest scaling, but we have seen Lethality Varus actually do some decent things in the late game. And as we've already mentioned, there's not really true tanks on Bro's side. That would be difficult to manage into the Trundle anyway. So probably still going to get a bunch of value. That being said, they had Senna, Sion, Azir, and lost to Bro at like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
With a massive gold lead.
There's
so
always,
like, it doesn't really matter.
There's always caveats. You can never be sure of anything when it comes to a matchup like this. So
I'm sure that someone's Nexus will explode at the end of this game. That's as far as I'm going to go, though.
Fairly safe bet, you know.
And then obviously we get chrono breaked, and actually it's a remake or something like that, and this game isn't even included.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. Do you remember there was that one game where it was like the most incredible early game that Canyon has ever played on Trundle, but then we had to remake it, and the game just was lost, was gone forever?
I don't think I do. But
yeah, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah. But I'm not sure what happened level 1. It looked like Quantum got chunked out by Polu, and Polu also has Ignite, so...
Oh dear. Quantum's in a lot of trouble. Hype chasing after them. Activates the Q. But still a fair bit of damage back here from Berserker. Polo getting his eye in with these anchors, though, and it is pretty scary. Look at this huge stack of minions as well that DNF will have to deal with, as Hype and Polo with so much control of this lane.
I mean, so much pressure being applied. Polo doing a great job. And again, the Ignite into heal is so much more combat power. You get low, the Ignite reducing the healing just means you're liable to die. I actually honestly think he could have ignited Quantum there. And I'm not sure if Quantum would have died, but he certainly would have had to recall. But he's holding it. It's very clear that Polo isn't wanting just to force a recall. He wants a kill.
Yeah, there's another hook connecting. The Ignite, like you were talking about, is going to go down.
Importantly, though, Quantum healed before the Ignite.
Yeah.
So
and Hype hit the Slurkle as well, which was pretty cool. Did you see that when he hit the Slurkle?
Yeah. Is that what it's called now?
Yeah, that's what it's called now. Because it's a slowing circle.
Interesting.
And what we do is we combine those two words, and it turns into Slurkle.
Okay. That does make me a little uncomfortable.
I know, doesn't it? Because I don't even really know why it makes you uncomfortable, you know? Because it is just word fusion of two very common words.
Yeah.
Okay? It shouldn't make anyone uncomfortable, but it does.
It does.
That's what makes it so good. Okay, that's enough talking about Slurkle for at least the next 2.5 minutes.
Oh, because I know you're so good at just dropping things and not bringing them up again and again and again.
And all of those promises that I've made to you as well.
Yeah.
Where I've said, no, we're not going to talk about tempo vibes again.
Yeah.
And then it only is the only thing that I talk about for the remainder of
I'm sure Slurkle won't be a thing. I'm sure it's not going to get brought up like 76 more times over the course of today.
Yeah, I admit, whenever Yunara is played, I will talk about Slurkle because I just think it's fantastic. And I don't want to, what is it, like Arc of Judgment or something weird that just doesn't really work?
Arc of the Covenant?
Yeah, it's Arc of the Covenant. I think that's what the ability is actually called. And I just don't, it is Arc of Judgment. And it sounded like it didn't make sense enough for me to not even think that it's correct. So instead, it's now Slurkle.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, Ox. All right, Closer is down to 200 health. He's going to go back. And even in farm completely with Bulldog here, so doing a pretty good job on the Yone. And I don't know whether I think his last Yone game was a little hit or miss, if I remember correctly. So I think Closer is going to be doing a little bit of trying to redeem himself in this game.
Yeah, and I think into a situation like this, a lot of... I mean, to be fair, if you get hit by something like the Varus ult, you can just kind of get exploded, but all you have to do is connect that ult onto either Bulldog or Berserker, and you're kind of golden. You know, there's so much value to be gained. Even if you don't kill them, just locking them up, getting a good amount of damage in will get so much value. But surviving the lane, you know, even though obviously Yone picked a lot into his ear, a lot of the early laning in most Yone into range matchups is just weathering the storm, getting to the early levels.
Another hook connects here onto Quantum as Hype fighting Berserker here. The Slurkle lands. It's a beautiful cleanse, and he needed it because otherwise he was going to die. Hype still with that summoner spell available as Polo is getting so much value out of this Ignite, keeping it on cooldown. You love to see it. As Closer not going to be worried about being put in the kennel.
And it just feels like constantly Vrov had the pressure in this matchup.
Well, the flash forward from Quantum, the cleanse flash to get Hype out of there, and Polo is just chasing Berserker down. First blood, and Polo is taking matters into his own hands, picks up a double on the Nautilus. Oh man, and we have been critical of Polo. Not today. Today, he's truly the president.
Huge win there for Bro. Pioshik was in the vicinity heading on up to provide the backup, but an overstep from the DNF bot lane backfires massively. Both of them going down. The only minor, tiny consolation prize is that Polo was the one who got the kills, but this ends up backfiring massively, and Quantum goes for the play, but Hype has both sums, doesn't even get hit by the hail of arrows there, and Berserker, Polo follows him and just beats him down.
Yep. And then has the passive in order to stun up this Rel at the same time. Yeah, Duke pretty happy about that one. Oh, the double claps as well as Polo manages to lock it down. He wasn't thinking about the support getting a double kill. He was thinking about his team getting 2 kills in this early game and getting themselves a 700 gold lead.
I mean, having an early lead in a Yunara lane against a Varus and a Yunara who bought a cull, you're just feeling so good.
Oh, yeah. And now the fact that this is right when Polo gets unlocked as well. Whenever he turns up in a lane, like he's got a Kindle gem sort of just
Yeah,
chilling
you know,
there. Hasn't really got a big item lead, as it turns out, against Quantum. But
I mean, he has the boots and the cloth. I mean, that's something that's
right. I mean,
like,
that's exactly the lead, in fact, in Gold. So
that's something that's always, obviously you'd rather have these kills in the Yunara because it'll get it towards the late game snowballer sooner. But in terms of like early impact, the gold on the support, he's going to be roaming about. He's going to be present in a lot more plays. He's going to be a bit tankier. And again, I'm not saying you'd rather have it on Polu, but that gold isn't useless that it's on the support.
And you can also transfer that gold better in the early game, like you're saying. But it will take Polu having to get out there, make stuff happen. Great interrupt there from Morgan onto Dudu, but Dudu not really too worried about it. He's got, Balmy Cinder as well as that Bramble Vest. He's pretty happy with how things are right now. But probably not super happy about the couple of kills that Bro have been able to pick up. Feats of Warfare, just one away. Is this Drake getting on in age just a little bit?
Yeah, you see, Croc actually took 2 of the grubs, then moved down just to defend his own red buff from Pioshik. But Pioshik didn't go for the dragon in return, so Bro managed to get an objective. No real major trade other than those Raptors on the bot side, and it just feels like another big win for Bro. And again, you know, if you look at the series scoreline, yeah, Bro much more favored against DNF, but DNF normally have the edge in the early game, normally come out ahead there, and then it's later where we see them struggle. Right now, they're struggling already, and it's not a great trend for them based on how typically things tend to go.
Yeah, I'm putting that in the cons column directly here. As Morgan with full health, feeling pretty happy. Roar of the Slayer and the Q combo here from Dudu. That'll be all right.
Morgan actually denying the cannon there. Very sad for the Scion.
Yeah, not great. Well, Pioshik is finally going to come down and look for this Drake, as Polu can get a ward in and then even immediately come on over and be frustrating. But as you can see, there is lane control for the Varus. So not going to be diving on in with any blast cones or anything like that. Croco just going to let this dragon go. Not too worried about a singular ocean this time around, as nice stun out from Morgan. Does get knocked up by the Q. There is the Soul Furnace as well, doing a lot of work. As Morgan gets hit by another Q there as well. So the Scion doing a pretty good job here in this top lane. And now let's see what Hype can do. Quantum with the Magnet Storms, pretty good, but another cleanse does come out. There's the double knockup, but Pioshik is going to come in, and Polu, I don't think he's going to make anything happen here. He is just going to be taken down. There's a kill on the board for DNF.
Really easy gank there coming in. You know, they also get the cleanse from Hype. The CC setup forces it. So a return play before that's up and available will be very easy to make, but there's just nothing really Polu can do. Nautilus into Trundle feels so bad because, you know, the tankiest support anyway, so when you get ulted by him, you just become paper. But also, one of the best ways to escape as a Nautilus is to hook terrain, but the pillar just blocks that.
Well, Hype being pretty aggressive here towards the bottom side of the map, as Polu made his way back very, very quickly, as you certainly can do with this unsealed spellbook. So the Bros continuing to have a fair bit of pressure down here. Pioshik does have that Sundered Sky now completed. First item spike for the Trundle is pretty nice. Still getting towards the Liandry's for Croco. I think the Bros pretty fine with how things are going at this point in time. Just want to be able to find that next kill, lock in those Feats of Warfare, make stuff happen. As Morgan getting aggressive towards Dudu here. And not too much else going to really occur. Dudu just pretty happy to get some grasp stacks, I think.
Yeah. I feel like that's the vibe when you're playing a tank in the top lane. You know, a matchup like Renekton, you just getting some grass stacks, chilling out, scaling up, a little back and forth. As long as you're not dying, you're having a good time.
Yep, you're playing a different game than the champion that has Conqueror, you know.
Yeah, I just feel like it's...
You just want number to go up.
It's that vibe with the Renekton, just like trying to force, trying to make things happen, being really aggressive, very angry in your face, and the Scion's just like...
Bonk.
Yeah, vibe.
That's
amplified if you have Heartsteel. But yeah, here... I mean, it's Poluan's walking up here, but Berserker lands the ult on Hype and sidesteps the Dredge line. And then here, Pioshik's really patient with the pillar, and it just means there's no way that Polu was able to get out. Eventually does put it down, but just to block away Hype from the situation.
Oh, I think he managed to get the cannon that time around. Managed to roar the minion all the way through. That feels pretty good there for Dudu. But he's still down about 10 CS. It's not really too much of a big deal, to be perfectly honest. Polu moving towards his mid lane, as Berserker and Quantum are already parked. Let's see what Croco's going to do. Does, of course, have level 8, so the Nature's Grasp going to be available. Hasn't quite found an angle for it just yet. 2 minutes until the Cloud Drake. Soul, I assume, is probably going to be Chemtech. That's just how things are. As Morgan slicing and dicing and acting all cool.
He said that in a very judgy way.
Oh, okay. Bit of a fight here in this mid lane. Is Polo just going to flash away? Anchors to the wall.
Yeah.
Bro not necessarily winning these trades, as Pioshik has just kind of parked himself with the DNF bottom lane.
I think, honestly, that was a situation where Polu should have died. I think the pillar maybe thrown out a bit early. They knew he had flash. They knew he was back up from when they last took it, so I think they could have been patient with the flash. And once, like, he kind of had to use it to dodge away from Quantum's ult. It's one of those situations where they threw a bit too many things, so his flash got too much value.
Yeah.
And he obviously does end up flashing out, and they still get a summoner, but a kill would have been even nicer there.
True. Still, see what they can do. As now moving down towards this bottom side of the map. In comes Pioshik, throws down the kennel. I don't think they're too interested in a dive, especially with Nautilus and Maokai on their way down.
Yeah. Do you have, it's now a minute till that Dragon as you mentioned, but also the Herald up in a minute, so I think 2 major objectives up and available. At this point though, Berserker really in a strong position, has that Ghost Blade up and available, compared to the Inara, who's still really coming online.
Oh, might be able to pick something up here though, because she just finished the cull, so a fair bit of money in the coffers here for Hype, who does
Probably
just
boots,
completes the shoes.
I mean, it's still decent, right? You're not useless by any means. But I think Berserker definitely going to be able to get Prio in mid lane. And also, if you land some big poke here, it can make a big difference. And there's no one really who can just soak. I mean, you're not really soaking poke from Varus. There's no way to do that. But, like, there's no one who can walk up and take piercing arrows for free, right?
Yep.
I guess Polu can soak one with his Celestial opposition. But he will shred basically anyone.
Well, you've got Pioshik and Bulldog just beating down this turret. That is just gone. Really nicely played. The Nature's Grasp is going to come through for the attempted punish. But there's the Sun Disc going to be put up as Emperor's Divide comes down. Bulldog still not out of the woods just yet, as the depth charge is going to lock him up. And they've taken 1 kill. Croco looking a bit worse for wear though, as Morgan sidesteps the Q. And there's a nice double knock off. The ulti to follow there from Closer. Looking fantastic on the Yone this time as he flashes towards Dudu. He does get knocked up, but he's still pretty tanky on this Scion. Another Q going to connect, but the Soul Furnace is going to be back as Pioshik going to be flashing away. Hype flashes forward to get the kill on to the Trundle. The Arc of Ruin there does a fair bit of work towards Berserker, but he is safe under the turret. A big win for the Bros as they lock down the feats of warfare and grab so many extra kills.
Huge overcommit there from DNF onto the tower, and the thought process was, hey, if we get a tower, we have the Azir tower to come up and give us protection, but it just doesn't do that much. You see it here, they're like, okay, let's just play around it, but you actually see it just doesn't do that much damage. And so in the situation, like Closers under there hitting Bulldog, you can see Polo was tanking it for a bit. It's just not really that threatening compared to an actual tower.
Yeah.
And so DNF realized, okay, we actually kind of have to leave. There's too many members there. But then they kind of get caught in the mixer. They're getting chased down. And it just ends up in this situation where too many people move down and try and defend. So now instead of just, you know, getting the tower, maybe losing 1 person, you're losing more and more members. Hype's getting kills as well.
Yep, massive Slurkle value as you saw there.
Oh yeah, huge Slurkle. And they get the Dragon as well, and it just turns into a massive disaster for DNF. Bro, very quick to respond, and also just not really respecting the Azir turret, and right not to do so.
Yeah, it's well played by the Bros. And now, looking to see what they can do about stopping this Rift Herald. Has been started up here by Pioshik, not exactly full commit as the kennel does come down. Pioshik getting down low, the flash out from Croco will be respecting it, but now looking for the re-engage as the Nature's Grasp comes down. It does manage to find Quantum, who only has to really deal with a Slurkle as a result. And now Dudu making his way in. DNF committing to this fight, but Dudu off to the side, does charge the cube, but doesn't get the knock-up onto Closer. Is now Hype doing so much work as Quantum down to 50%. Morgan dives in and will be able to stun up the Rel. Hook connects onto Pioshik. Emperor's Divide is decent as Morgan will be going down, but it's a double for Closer on the back end of the fight, and Hype is still there laying down the damage. Closer looking for even more, but I think he'll have to go back to that soul pretty soon. And Dudu will survive, but still a massive win for the Bros once again.
Such good team fighting there from the Bros. They split off DNF. They deny Dudu's flank. They force Berserker away. And then they just beeline for the rest of the team. And they find a great angle there and get another big lead. We see it here. So Dudu, look at this angle. Both Hype and Closer just say, no, clear off. This is our side of the map. You can't come over here. And the rest of the team start moving forward, start posing a threat. So Hype and Closer start to move in. They force Berserker here. Hype does to flash over the wall. And then the rest of the team move forwards.
Oh,
they find this great engage. Hype is there for the follow-up. And Berserker can't really do anything off to the side. Dudu is already chunked out. Just great execution and Closer finding a fantastic angle. This is definitely the redemption he needed for that. On that Yone.
Exactly right. That three-man ulti just magnificent out of this guy. And I think it's a really good day to have Wolf on the space because he can tell you about how this is the year of Closer. Because I think this week, maybe it actually is.
Yeah.
Last week, it was a little bit less obvious.
We can settle for the weaker Closer, at least.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's about exaggeration. You know, you need to have a bit of that exaggeration. And so I'm happy to say that it's the year of Closer, even if it is maybe only just the week. Still, Quantum does manage to at least finish an item. It's the Zeke's Convergence, so it's not quite as valuable as what Polu has put together. The 2-1-4 Nautilus. And it's 8-2, man. Like, the Bros are really starting to run away with this. And the really worrying part of it is the fact that their composition just really does love this time of the game.
Yeah. I mean, also, you know, I feel like the fact that the bot lane didn't really go well, the fact that the Berserker, you know, this is when he should be strong, but Hype is just in a great position. Closer has a lead, and it just feels like they're in a really rough spot. I mean, Hype is so strong already.
Yeah.
He's approaching a second item.
Yeah, Renounce is going to be finished very, very soon. So DNF need to be really careful. Look at Hype, he's just walking into the enemy jungle because the Bros have so much control, so much vision all over this map.
Full confidence.
Yep. 50 seconds until that Infernal Drake that the Bros are laying down vision for. And I think they will have enough control to be able to take their second dragon of the game. Pretty late one as far as third Drake's concerned, so we're not even towards soul points just yet. As Morgan and Dudu just continuing to fight one another. It's not really going to eventuate in very much, guys. But they do hit each other a lot with buttons.
Good hitting.
Yeah.
You know? Actually getting the Phantom Dancer coming up from Hype, so not going for
Morgan just bypassing Dudu completely to get a cheeky auto attack on this turret. Not too much more going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Bro feels so confident now. They just finished second item on Closer and Hype. We obviously have second item on Bulldog and Berserker, but they haven't finished their boots. And I think these spikes for Closer and Hype feel really good. So I think you just have to give up the Dragon in this situation for DNF. The thing is, it's still a long way for Soul for Bro, so it's not too much of a concern, but definitely not a fantastic feeling.
No, I think that this one isn't, you know, worth losing the game over. So
there'll be other dragons to lose the game over, don't you worry.
Exactly. As Berserker going to get slurpled, but otherwise not too worried. And that is just the Drake going down. 3,000 gold, the approximate lead here for the Bros. And DNF trying to figure out what to do next. Their comp front to back is going to feel okay as this game goes on. The problem is the way the Bros have been playing out these fights has just been better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the problem as well is that DNF would love to have control of an area, get set up, you know, force Bro to come into them and land poke. But I feel like with Bro having control, DNF are going to have to push in constantly, and it exposes you to flanks, it exposes you to walking into saplings, things like that. And it's just not a really comfortable position to be in. You can see Bro already setting up on this top side of the map. It is Atagan up and available, but also Baron coming up in a few minutes. So if you maintain this control here, even if you don't get the Atakan, it sets up for the Baron that's spawning later on.
Yep, it also means that if DNF ever start Atakan, then they could, if they then lose a fight, it's Atakan into Baron into probably just game over.
Yeah.
So it's so incredibly risky to be up there, but they have to, because they have to try and stop Bro from just taking the Atakan for free. It's a really worrisome position.
Man, these saplings are hitting.
Yeah. And that's 2 items on Croco as well, and he did not stop building damage.
Yeah.
As Morgan also, he's hit too, as the Spirit Surgeon does come in. Hook gonna go wide here from Polo. Kind of crazy that the hitbox didn't quite work out there, as somehow it's a double snare from the Nature's Grasp. Polo gonna have to flash away because that one is not really what he wanted. Hype able to dash out of the Scion ulti.
Okay, I mean, this was pretty good. They managed to get some summoners. They managed to get a kill. They get the TP from Morgan as well.
Ult down on Hype as well. So for the next little while, that is something they're not going to have to worry about quite as much. Still doing a fair bit of damage. Went Phantom Dancer, actually. Not the Runans like I was expecting.
Oh, nice pillar.
Yep. Beautiful stop on the Rift Herald. Not going to find any Shelly value off that one.
Yeah, so I mean, still in the deficit, but those were some good moves from DNF, and it's things like that, just mitigating the pressure, finding a little advantage, they'll make a big difference. And particularly, you know, the kill on Polo isn't the most meaningful thing. I will say that Dredgeline did look like a hit, and then the double root, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like the double root shouldn't have hit, but the Dredgeline should have hit.
Yeah.
And the punishment on the Magnet Storm being on cooldown just wasn't really there.
Yeah, I don't think Bro really in position, but they felt like we're strong, we should punish this, but end up overstepping. But I think the main thing for me is the fact that there's now flash down on Crocker and Polu, and they're both very squishy when you're really thinking about it, especially into a Trundle. And that's a bit of a window for DNF. If they find like a Varusol onto one of them, a pick like that can really make such a big difference, you know, so maybe a little bit more hope than we had before. And I think just finding angles like that are what they need. Also, the TP being down on Morgan means if something does happen on the top side, I think it kind of makes Bro feel a lot more uncomfortable about starting the Atakan, given that their top laner has to, you know, find Prio, move over. That being said, he does now have Prio and is moving over, so that is the window if you want to lean towards it. But Dudu is able to respond, and it looks like Morgan isn't really too committal on playing towards the top side.
It's also going to mean, you know, mid control is going to be there for DNF. You saw they managed to get that wave shoved. But yeah, DNF just, they can't start this. Closer is just going to start hitting it. I don't know whether that's really going to eventuate in very much of anything at all, as Morgan and Dudu continue to fight.
I think some players, especially some champions, you know, you have sustain on your nate. It's just like a little compulsion. You know, you walk by it, you want to give it a little love tap.
Yep, sometimes you just want to hit something. And that's precisely what he's going to do. And now DNF 5 strong here in the mid lane as Polu looking for a bit of a hook angle, finds a minion. That's not exactly what he wants as the Nature's Grasp comes down. Bulldog just out of position as Morgan is chasing after him, doesn't find the dice as there is the hook combo out from Polu onto Pioshik as the exhaust does come through. Dudu the first one to fall, and the front line is now missing for DNF. The Bros, I think they got what they wanted as they now look to push out the mid lane.
Great angle there from Morgan on the flank. Now DNF should be able to defend their tower. Fortunately, they still have the TP on Dudu, so he's going to be alive in time for that dragon spawn up, but you give up a lot of control. Croco's clearing out the vision. If he starts to get saplings up in the area, it's going to be pretty painful trying to contest this. Watch how Morgan plays this. It's actually so beautifully done. The CC comes on Apollo, but he cleanses. But Morgan goes in, gets the stun, and then actually dashes away to dodge the ult.
Oh, that was beautifully done.
So well played. And he obviously doesn't manage to stick on Bulldog and kill him, but because he forced him away, forced DNF to respond, it gives the rest of his team free range just to kill Dudu. So really nice flank from him there. Now, Bro have control over the area. DNF are TPing Dudu in to try and contest.
Yep, Quantum looking for a bit of an angle here. As you can see, it's slightly split for the Bros. Once again, a flank angle for Morgan, but it is going to get watched out for as there's the exhaust onto Closer. Not really a full commit here, as Dudu just taking a lot of free damage for the moment. Another double knockup from the Q, and the instant ulti from Closer just says good night. The interrupt! This guy's Yone today is just something else, as Hype is looking to keep them at bay. That is soul point for the Bros. Oh, maybe it's actually the decade of Closer. Maybe the year wasn't enough.
I'm ready to call it, man. That was so clean. Getting the 2 with the ult and then interrupting the dash from Bulldog, taking him out.
I didn't even think he needed to do that. It was already good enough.
And yet he did, you know, just rubbing it in, establishing that he's on form right now today. They'll get the Dragon, they'll get the Baron, they'll get the Atakan. And it's looking like they're gonna get the game one as well.
Yeah,
7-0-2 right now on the Shone.
I said it wrong before because I was like, oh, it should be Otacon into Baron into game over. But no, it was Dragon into Baron into Otacon and then game over. As now it is a 7.5k gold lead. And let's have a look at it from Closer's perspective yet again. The double knock up, the ulti, instant just death of the front line. And then, like, this did not need to happen, but it was so beautifully done.
It's just an ankle breaker, you know. That's the sort of thing that when it happens, it's not just the fact that, like, it's a sick play, but also from the other side, on the receiving end, it's a tilter. It feels bad to be on the receiving end. You're like, man.
It's like, dude, you already won the team fight. You didn't need to do that to me.
Yeah, I was dashing over the wall. And now, I mean, the lead is massive, right? And we've seen DNF struggle in these later game situations. There wasn't a game to throw in this situation. It's been Bro in control throughout, and now they have so many things in their favor. The Dact is firmly stacked towards Bro. They're establishing control. They're not stepping up too far, though. They are trying to just play around the fact they have this pressure from closing the side lane. You can see DNF moving. Yeah. Hard to pin down a Yone, though.
We're going to try and catch him as the ulti gets Closer out of there. That has been deadly in these fights, though, so a big cooldown to now be used up. Still, the Bros get a lot out of it. They take down this mid-outer turret finally, as the Blast Cone is going to evacuate Quantum and Pyoshik.
Yeah, I will say, level 16, the ult cooldown.
Yeah, it's not massive.
Amount, so it won't be too long before it's up and available. And the team is now pushed forwards, establishing more vision. So Closer needs to be a little bit more patient, and they should be able to start knocking on these tier 2 towers. DNF, though, you know, something I talked about before was burning summoners, being able to punish targets without those, but a lot back up and available. Now looking, though, for hype.
Yeah, Pyoshik looking for the angle. That Arc of Ruin was doing so much damage. I did kind of want to call it budget extendo beam, but I've seen extendo beams do less damage than that.
That was pretty high budget, you know.
That was pretty high budget.
That's when you set a budget and you just overspend ridiculously, and you're like, there's no way we're making money on this.
Yeah. I think this was a poor financial decision.
But it did look cool.
It certainly did. As this inner turret will stay alive for the moment. Berserker and Bulldog going to be able to save that. But Morgan up there by himself, taking the inner turret in the top lane. 3,000 gold lead for the Crocodile. Morgan having a pretty good time today. As, yeah, Closer and Dudu fighting one another, and Closer feeling pretty happy about it. 3 items complete on this Yone.
And I feel like just Bro aren't giving real windows. It feels like DNF are constantly trying to pressure, trying to find an angle.
Morgan?
Yeah, he's just doing his thing. But again, you know, he backs off, he doesn't overstay for the inhibitor tower, he's going to recall, and it just feels like DNF are kind of running around looking for someone to try and target, someone to try and kill, and finding nothing right now. And it's a minute and a half until Infernal Soul.
This is kind of ridiculous. Going back for the reset, making sure that they use their empowered recalls as well.
Oh man, I'm just going to say, there's no way you're going to be able to balance the books with the extendo beam once you get the Infernal Soul.
Yeah.
There's just, the budget is just blown.
It's definitely not budget extendo beam anymore. It is Arc of Ruin. We can actually call it its real name. It does sound pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah.
When it's not Slurkle, it's Arc of Ruin.
Whoa.
Okay? We can actually call it.
I will not have Slurkle slander on this broadcast.
I mean, it's the same button, you know? It's just the altered up version.
I think a lot of our viewers prefer Slurkle.
Should we actually just call it Slurkle, whether it's
to be fair,
whether it's the altered up one or not?
The beam isn't.
It is not a circle at all.
Yeah.
Long circle. Long Slurkle. No, I don't think not even that. It's more of a rectangle, isn't it? When it does come out. So we're just going to call it Arc of Ruin. We're happy with that. 9,000 gold going to be the lead here for the Bros. And yeah, DNF running on fumes, to say the least. Seeing whether they can stop Closer in his tracks here, as Polo just playing defense, doing so successfully here. Slurkle going to connect on to Quantum. He's able to crash his way out of it. The Bros now grouped up once again, 1 second, and now it's Infernal Soul time. Hype getting to work on this one. They've got so much damage when they do decide to go in here. They don't want Pyoshik with any chance of making this happen, and he doesn't. They just burst it down. The ulti from Closer, but it's mitigated by that Sonya's. But that Arcane Smash was so good. Arc of Ruin comes down as well. Now it's Hype's time to shine. Gets on top, but actually Berserker shuts down the Inara just for a couple of seconds before Closer says, no, this is the decade of Closer, and I am sorry. but you are not winning this team fight. Yeah,
Just keep
not
running.
gonna be getting out of this one
Just
either.
keep running, bro.
Yeah,
Don't stop. Don't stop.
It is some defecting time here for the Trundle, who decides to sit in
You're not
a
going to be able to make it. No, just keep running.
Well, he might actually...
No.
He's not going to. But still, I mean, he hasn't been touched by the Maokai yet. So that is going to be an execute. And down goes Pyosik, not feeling too happy about it, as you can see.
Did buy time, but yeah, this did not go well. The Maokai ult just stops them from getting close. Stasis from Bulldog buys time, but again, there's just so much damage coming out in return, especially with the Infernal Soul. Pyosik barely surviving there, and then Hype a little bit overzealous, disrespecting the Varus burst, but it doesn't really matter. Berserk kiting into the sapling, unfortunately. And right now, this Yone 8-0-4 with the GA.
He just
4 items and change.
I think he actually just went and bought a full GA and the Vampiric Scepter just all at once.
He is very strong.
He is quite a big boy. They also have Infernal Soul, as you mentioned before. That was going to be problematic, and that is going to continue to be so, as the Baron has spawned and now it's dead.
Oh, you know what's the worst? I mean, I don't think it really matters, I'm going to be honest. But the Infernal Soul saplings,
yeah,
not a good time.
I mean, it's also 3 damage items. 0-0-12 Maokai. As Closer not too worried about Sion and Pyosik.
The reason I don't think the saplings will matter much is because you have to leave your base to walk in brushes. And I don't think that's happening.
Dudu, I don't think he's getting out of this one either. The Unstoppable Onslaught is feeling a bit stoppable here. Is the ulti going to collect 2 of them? Immediate snapback there from Closer, though, who did not want to use up that GA just yet. And the Sion does go down. Nothing Dudu can really do here, unfortunately, even though he is Dudu. My goodness, Hype doing so much work. But Berserker's actually, really starting to hurt. These W-empowered Qs.
I mean, this was clearly the theory, right? This is what DNF wanted if the game didn't completely
fall apart.
Yeah, you know, the range of the Varus, if you can set up, if you can protect him, that poke is a big threat. If Bro couldn't find an engage, you would eventually be able to just whittle them down. But the problem is they are finding those engages, and they're strong enough to force. It doesn't even have to be a flawless engage for them to really find favor, but yeah, he lands that piercing arrow there onto Hype and Polu, and then gets to follow up a bit later. Yep,
gets another one, but we are going to be out of the replay before we get to see that. It's a 14,000 gold lead, and so now, if DNF turn this around, it's about the same as the comeback that Bro had against them in their last matchup.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be redemption for that debt they paid, right?
Now's the time, DNF. Make it happen, as the nature is grasping, and I'm grasping at straws as far as trying to explain that there is a way out here for DNF. It's looking real rough as down this one goes. There's the flash hook out Apollo as well, as Pyosik nowhere to go, and he will just be wiped out. Hype doing so much damage in this fight. This Lurk connects, and the answer is immediate there from Closer. And look at these autos from Hype. He's untouched. Empress Divide, though, will be able to find him down to the GA. Is this Yunara? But that is a zombie Scion that's just going to get wiped out. The knock-up onto Berserker as well, as he is relegated to the fountain. No comeback this time, as the Bros put DNF down here in Game 1.
And the thing is, we've seen a lot of Rise teams struggle to do successful things against DNF in the early game, and it's come down to clutching in the later stages, even Bro. But this time, Bro, clean sailing throughout. Yeah. Felt like they never really gave in, and they got the Yunara. You know, DNF felt like with the Varus, with the range advantage, maybe they'd be able to answer it. You know, Pyosik on his Trundle is most played champion in rounds 2 to 5, and it just wasn't enough. They just really couldn't stamp them down, and particularly, I mean, Closer had a fantastic game, but Hype and Polu just kind of dominating the 2v2 against a Varus, and Quantum on, you know, Israel, one of his better picks. Yeah, this was just Bro in great form.
They looked really, really good. And I think that this is the best you're going to see out of Bro. It's when Closer and Polu are on form, when they're making things happen. Looking at this damage graph, good old Yunara just doing a lot of work, but the graph itself is just up and to the right. It's just pretty clean here from the Bros. Like you mentioned so many times during this series, it's early game that DNF managed to find angles, and they really just didn't at any stage in this one against the Bros. And maybe they'll just run away with the series. I was kind of promised a 3-gamer.
Yeah.
So we deserve it, right?
we all deserve it.
Exactly. So DNF, they're going to come back in game 2. You best believe me. Time for us to take a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break that one down. We'll have that second game.
이번에 떠줄래 그냥?
쓸게. 라인 너한테 쓸게.
당연하게 파이어 치면서 볼게. 파이어 치면서 봐요. 나 파워부터 처음부터.
기다 이거 결국 깨지거든. 바텀 파워 기다려봐.
그냥
앞에 나가. 앞에 깨졌어. 앞에 것부터 끌게 이거. 그럼 잡았고. 야 더 보자.
사와봐. 이거 때릴 거 때려봐. 야 들어올 거야?
꺼놨어. 아지로 공감에서 공풀 조심. 아지로. 끝내면 되겠다. 나볼래? 나이스. 여기까지. 내꺼.
The one with as much agency in comparison, but it still felt like there were times where they needed to have that go, as was demonstrated on the space, and they just kind of lacked that. So we'll see if maybe they have a bit more of that here. They are now on the blue side this time around.
Yep.
A lot of picks taken away in Fearless, you know, with the Yunara and the Varus being gone, often things we see banned pretty high priority throughout the series, so those off the cards just free up a little bit of that ban economy.
Yeah. It hasn't freed up the Pantheon. Last time Life made that heroic sub in, you know, the Pantheon was available, and they managed to pick up a victory with that one. Not going to happen this time around, as the Pantheon Orianna going to be the two bans to start us off on the side of the Bros, and we're focusing on the jungle here, as Poppy, Xin Zhao have been taken away. Then the Talia will be the answering ban.
Yeah, Xin Zhao makes a lot of sense with Trundle being taken off the cards.
Yep.
Vi open and available, Wukong open and available, Nico still open and available, which Bro banned last time. So Bro could ban the Nico here and trade the Vi and Wukong. Wukong, at the moment, definitely the one I would say preferred by most teams. That pick's been doing really well. They go in a different direction, though, and ban away the Ambassador. So Nico's available, Wukong's available, Vi's available, that were all banned away last time. And DNF will prioritize that Wukong, which I think is definitely the right call.
Yeah, I think Wukong does make a lot of sense. They can still threaten the Aurora if the Gwen is going to be locked in, so I don't expect there to be a top lane pickup here for the Bros. But maybe some sort of Vi combination could be coming on through here for Bro.
You know, with
they'd like to.
With the Ambessa banned, I mean, could Bro even go like Gwen or Aurora themselves and then...
Oh yeah, true.
Because the close is a mean Aurora, and you deny that counter, you give the Gwen over with the Ambessa gone as well. I mean, I guess they could take the Rumble, so that's still on the cards, so maybe they don't go that angle. But I feel like the Rumble matchup not as punishing as the Aurora. But now they'll just go the Vi, so we see that trade in junglers. Not too much surprise there.
Yep. You could just Vi Aurora, actually, and then flex the Aurora around to make sure that that Gwen isn't coming in, and then pick the Gwen if they don't...
Vi Aurora, Gwen on 3?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they might go in that direction. This really limits, because if you go Gwen or Rumble here for DM Freaks, you're going to be in with a bad time. And then it sets up that third pick for Bro to be in a really strong spot, so it looks like they might go that angle.
Yeah.
And now DM Freaks have to consider their options here.
See what Dudu does want to do. It is going to be the Rumble. I feel like this is the best of a bad situation, and it is blue side Rumble, which we do like a lot better.
Yeah.
Cyclone and Equalizer together are also a lot of wombo combo just in 2 champions. So let's see what Bulldog is going to do to augment this, as the Aurora could be going towards the top side of the map, and if there is a matchup that they don't really like, they can flex her into the mid lane as well. That's a Viger.
Yeah.
Let's see what Bulldog does actually want to do here.
Honestly, personally, I'd love something like a Rakan here, just because it's always going to get banned second rotation.
Yeah?
And I feel like it's not really going to get responded by Bro. But they end up going for the Annie instead, which is something Bulldog has played. I believe he's played this. Actually, I think Close has played it more than Bulldog has. But we'll bring this out very strong with the Wukong. We've seen that combo quite a lot of engaged threat.
Yep.
So a lot of agency from the top side. And now, Bro, we'll see where the Aurora is going. Obviously, it's a great matchup into the Rumble, so they might just stick it in the top lane for Morgan.
Yeah, they could actually put it in both positions if they would like to, or hold on to the flex. Not too bad. And they are just going to lock away the Alistar.
It keeps the pressure up, you know. You have an option that can go into both lanes. It's a great matchup into the Rumble. It means that it's harder for DN Freaks to ban, and now you secure the Alistar, which is so often banned away and denied from that R4 pick. And you can ban away, you know, the Rakan to deny it from that Rakan-Wukong combo we see teams love to get their hands on, but never really get that many chances to do so.
Yep. See what they do decide to take away here, as the Nico is going to be the first ban. Maybe Nico Rakan is going to be taken away here. And DN Freaks, a little bit more difficult, as they want to be banning mid lane, top lane, 80 carry, sort of everything.
Probably just have to go for the 80 carry bans.
I feel like Jhin does fit this composition quite well.
I think Jhin does fit the composition very well. Definitely something that can play at that range, because there is a lot of 80 carry threat, but Jhin is that pick who can just sit miles away and contribute. Sivir going to come out. I think Sivir that movement speed and also the spell shield value quite high. So we're going to take that one out. It has to be the Rakan here.
Yeah.
And it will be. And I would imagine...
Sivir Jhin could just be the bans.
Kai'Sa also, I think, for Hype specifically. Hype has been really big on the Kai'Sa, so it definitely would fit with the composition. So I could see them taking that one away.
If they do lock in the Kai'Sa, it's a lot of magic damage, so maybe that's why they might be shying away from it. Let's see what the bans are going to be here from the DN Freaks, though. As time is ticking, what is the decision going to be, as it is the Kai'Sa ban to actually come on through. So not going to be seeing that one. Could just be a comfortable Jhin lock in here and keep the ambiguity going.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you already know the solo laners, so
true.
It's not too much of an issue to kind of show your hand now. But you could also just, if you want to lock in the Jhin now, you could take it. You could also take something like the Corki as well, I think would be okay.
Yep.
Something that Hype has played a good amount of. And definitely pretty high prio in the LCK in total, and he will lock that in. Has the Valkyrie, you have a decent amount of range on your rockets, and you have the Valkyrie for a bit of safety, so I think there's some 80 carries in this draft would feel like a sitting duck. I think Corki has some tools to play around with. And also the lane's not too weak, which is one of the concerns, that you lock both your bot laners and one of them's an Alistar. If you have a weak laner, it could be a little concerning when you don't know what you're playing into, especially with the consideration that DN Freak's looking at a Lucian, so could just end up here being a Lucian Braum. Definitely not the funnest lane to play Alistar into.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good round out of this draft, and the Gwen will be locked away. Made it all the way through. Not exactly the most fun matchup, especially into blue side Rumble. So Morgan going to have his work cut out for him.
And I feel like DN Freaks kind of held their nerve and kind of were like, okay, well, yes, you can flex the Aurora, but we don't think you're going to, and they didn't. And now it's a matchup that Dudu's pretty fine with into the Gwen. The Aurora in the mid lane, I think you're fine with having the Wukong Annie. Honestly, I think Wukong Annie higher prior right now in the LCK.
Yep.
The bot lane matchup, Lucian Braum into Corki, Alistar's a good early matchup. So I think DN Freaks, all things considered, they kind of held their nerve. They picked champions that are, they're comfortable with. And despite this flex looming over, it didn't really come to fruition. So I think DNF pretty happy with how things panned out overall. But Bros still have some good tools under their belt.
Yep. I think that Bro's composition certainly snowballs extraordinarily hard, right?
Yeah.
The Vi, always one of these champions where once you can just choose a target, ult them, and they're dead, things become very, very difficult for the opposition. But the DNF comp looks very similar to what we saw Gen G absolutely dominate with earlier in the week as well. I believe that was yesterday. So we'll see whether they can pilot it to a similar effect, because a lot of these lanes we're feeling pretty happy with. But the Bros in the last game just looked like the better team. So is that going to be what rings true here in our second match, or is it a 3-gamer? I hope it is.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the second game of this series. DNF just playing for pride at this point, but the Bros, they are playing to make sure that they can lock in a position in the play-ins. Remember, the bottom 2 teams here in the Rise group will be eliminated. No chance of getting to the playoffs whatsoever. And there are 3 positions in the play-ins available.
Yeah, and realistically, with how things are now, Bro is the only team in the top 3 of Rise really under threat. You know, I think BNK FavorX, I don't think they're mathematically safe, but it's one of those situations where they're in a very comfortable spot.
Yep.
Whereas Bro, they are under real threat. If they lose this series, they start to lose more, they could go under, and DRX could close the distance. BNK FavorX, yeah, again, they're not mathematically locked, but a very crazy timeline would have to happen for them to end up in 4th from 2nd right now with 11 wins, so.
All right, Polo gonna place himself here in this brush as Berserker and Life waiting for an opportunity here. Berserker does give away his position in that brush. I think they're pretty sure that Life is going to be there as well. Nice piercing light, as Life will be able to find the Winter's Bite.
It's going to be a lane where Polo and Hype are on the back foot. Especially we saw Nerfs to Corki in the early game. He got a little boost in terms of his ratios and his ult and his Q, but his early Q damage did go down a bit. It's not too much of a concern in the early trading, but it does just mean a little bit less wave clear, a little bit less trading power, and you're already on the back foot in this lane, so definitely more focused on farming up and just playing it safe, especially as you have that cleanse into barrier. So if you go in for a heavy trade, and Lucian just barriers, you're going to be for an even worse time in terms of where the health ends up.
Yep. And I think this mid lane is going to be a pretty important place as Pureshik making his way in already at level 3. The flash out from close up, but the follow is going to be there. The flash forward, and there is the first blood going over to Bulldog. Right as I was saying that this was going to be a point of power for the Bros, Pureshik comes in and says, no, it's not.
Such a great gank angle and such a great timing, because I feel like if you gank even slightly later, once Closer has level 3, and look at his XP bar, how close he is. If he has his W, that gank just doesn't work. You maybe get the flash, but you don't get the kill. But he finds the angle, he comes in, the stun is set up by Bulldog, and it's pretty perfectly played. Again, the stun is there, he doesn't have that dash, he doesn't have that invisibility, he has to flash immediately, but the Wukong's there to follow. And he feels safe, he's leaning towards his top side because that's where his jungler is.
Yeah.
They even have a ward on Raptors, so he's thinking, okay, give it 5-10 seconds, I'm gonna see the enemy Wukong on that ward, I'm perfectly safe. But instead, Pureshik finds a great angle to loop around. It's really well played and a great start, and a lane that you don't often manage to find ganks, especially as a Wukong onto an Aurora early on.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, Wukong is generally known as one of these champions that does like to hit level 6 before anything really happens. Speaking of which, Croco also going to make his way in, as Bulldog just gets himself out of there. Stun at the ready, so not under too much threat, just trying to be annoying. Double Scuttle looking to come in here, though, as Pureshik will pay for his early aggression just a little bit. First Blood, though, going to make him feel pretty happy nonetheless. But as you can see, I mean, gold-wise, Croco, as we saw, he was just doing the Raptors while Closer was dying. And that has actually paid off, as the gold in the jungle position is absolutely even.
Yeah, Sob coming in now, though, which is exactly what Bro want. You can see the top lane matchup, Morgan having a rough time here. Is keeping up well in CS, though, so credit to him despite the health condition. But bot lane was also on the back foot, so this swap could not come any sooner. And
this is not looking great either for Morgan to make his return.
I will say he does have exhaust, so maybe if Croco can come down, can give him some assistance.
Yeah, it could be an option. You can see Hype and Polo just going to try and zone Dudu away as best they can, especially with Polo now joining the lane. But it's in a pretty decent spot here for Dudu. As you can see, it's going to be pretty balanced. And Hype is going to be hitting these minions. And so that means that it will be pushing towards the Rumble pretty comfortably.
Yeah, and he's not too far away from 6. Won't get out of these minions, but once he does hit it, I feel like that's one of the things with Rumble in these swap situations is eventually you can kind of just ult the wave and play defensive. This, though, Crocker's actually moved up towards his top side, and Morgan's isolated, and Annie is moving down, so Morgan's not getting the protection. He's on his own.
Yep, he's going to have to try and be a Gwen is immune type situation here, but it is getting real rough. There is the concussive blows, and Life comfortably tanks up that turret. A beautiful dive, and they'll be rewarded with plates as well. And Berserker picking up that kill, going to be huge here for DNF. Headbutt Pulve is going to connect onto Dudu, but he is just going to take a little bit of damage, otherwise be absolutely fine. And the answers here for the bros just aren't...
Oh no, oh no.
Why Morgan, why are we doing this? The exhaust does come on through, but he's just dead again. Yeah, I don't know. There's a nice little headbutt, and they will be able to answer. No, never mind. Dudu is just going to keep himself alive, and he holds the wave away from the turret at the same time. Oh dear. This has not gone very well for the bros.
Oh, the slow!
Hype is just going to pick it up with a fast bomb. I actually thought that maybe it was just going to be all over, but that is going to be a plate going over to at least Closer in that mid lane. But Pyoshik will be taking down this dragon. It's Feats of Warfare already completed for DNF. Oh, 3 games are looking so good.
I mean, this is just so well executed. Just the walk up, slow play, get the passive on. Everyone dives inside the Shroud, stuns up, and then the call to TP back in. Such a mistake, and you can see DNF already waiting around.
Ward.
Yeah, and the thing is, the same play comes out. This time, Bulldog tanks, and he just starts to walk out towards the back end, really easily done. Here, I was kind of talking about, Dudu ends up hitting the level 6, ults most of the wave, and then here, able to just survive long enough to flash away with the extra movement speed, stalls the wave out. And the thing is, yes, he ends up going down here, but he has TP as well. So this is just a much better situation than what Morgan ended up in.
Yeah.
And you can see, you know, look at the bot laners. I think, you know, you look top lane, there's not that much of a lead in favor of Dudu, but look at the bot laners. Berserk is 700 gold ahead of Hype right now. 20 CS and a kill lead. That is not how you want this bot lane matchup to have gone.
You certainly do not. As Life puts up the door here. And this was already a fine matchup for Berserker, and now it's looking even better. That Essence Reaver so incredibly close for this Lucian, who is managing to weave a lot of piercing lights through Hype, which is working very, very nicely. Not end of the world or anything like that for the bros, but it's a great start here for DNF.
Life actually getting level 6 before Berserker, which, you know, it's just funny because it's so rare we see the support getting the level 6 first, but he's ready to rumble.
He certainly is. As Pyoshik going to be starting up these grubs. Information there for the bros, as we do see a question mark ping on the grub camp. Morgan coming up just to try and eat some honey fruit, keep himself healthy. His close is going to be rotating over.
I don't think he can contest this, you know. Dudu still has TP.
Yep.
Morgan doesn't. Morgan has no way to stop Dudu's TP as well.
Hype and Polo are holding the wave as well, so there is no way.
And there's just no way to contest this. So, I mean, it's a right call from Bro, but it kind of shows how this game has quickly gone in a pretty uncomfortable position. Dudu, even the calls made, it's like, guys, they're not contesting us on the top side.
Oh, yeah, ulti going to connect there onto Hype as Polo just going to play defense. So the ult not necessarily working out here as the Winter's Fight does also go wide.
Berserk was, when he dashed in, he only had 70 mana, because I think he was looking for an ult on a Hype there. Didn't quite have enough. But I love this play from Dudu. He ults the wave, he knows, guys, we're clear on grubs. They might make a play bot side, so he ults the wave, backs away, and look, Morgan and Croco are hanging around for him. He does walk up here, though.
Yeah, he actually just basically said hi to Croco without seeing him, and then just continued to the wave. Pretty cute. Let's see whether they can actually make this dive work. Of course, there is no ulti for Dudu. Double teleports coming in as Closer is down here as well. They're going to see whether they can take out Dudu before that teleport completes, and they will be able to do so as Closer goes between the worlds, but it's a double teleport. The double pulve is also fantastic, but under the turret they go as there's the a snip from Morgan to lock down another kill. The Aurora will be going down, but it's a trade up for the Bros. At least they can hold on to that.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a caster curse coming out there, which Chronicler would tell you doesn't exist. Well, there's evidence.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of evidence, don't worry.
Dudu feels like he's safe. It's like guys have double TPs to cover this, but it comes him just a bit too late. Again, he doesn't have the equalizer this time around. He used to clear the wave earlier. They clear him out and basically get away, but then they opt to stay in because they bring Polu in. The Alistair can obviously tank for so long, and Pyosik gets there to try and help with the cleanup late, but I mean, Bro got so much from this, and this was a situation where I think Bro were very kind of disconnected from the flow of the game. It felt like they just weren't really able to find anything, and now that was a big influx of gold. But yeah, Wukong and Annie been doing pretty well in the Rise group.
They certainly have. It's an interesting time to bring it up, though, after there was a little bit of a flub in DNF, a little bit of the tempo going back in the favor of the Bros. I would say that the vibes are still there for DNF.
Maybe it's like a bit of encouragement, like, don't worry, DNF, guys.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, the DNF fans here at Lolpark especially have just been so incredibly vocal. Every time a player came back to sit down in their chair ready to play, there was a huge round of applause for each individual player as they were sitting down. It was just incredibly heartwarming to see here from the DNF fans in Korea.
That's the sort of thing that means so much to the players as well when you have been having a rough split.
Yeah.
And you can tell that, like, it's been tough. It's been rough for DNF and the players, but they've never given up.
Nope. Pyosik also now has his Trinity Force done. There was that initial spike of the Sundered Sky for Croco a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But now at least that's met.
Wukong's in this weird spot because obviously a lot of the junglers in the meta are really abusing Sundered Sky, and he does, it comes later, but that 2-item spike from him is so insane. So, you know, Croco a bit gets that spike earlier, but when Pyosik hits 2 items, he will be cooking.
Yep, it's kind of ludicrous. Ooh, Earth, Wind, and Fire might be the option here, as the Bros are going to be starting off this second dragon of the game. Feats of Warfare were completed very early here for DNF, but Feats of Strength haven't quite been confirmed just yet. Just one objective or turret, and they will be able to lock that one down. As Pyosik is in position, there is Earth, Wind, and Fire confirmed. That's fantastic. Polu going to be moving over as Morgan with the needlework, looking to try and take down some Tibbers. As Polu is in a bit of trouble. He does have the Unbreakable Will, but it's not going to last forever, and it's only level 1. There's the Cyclone, and the immediate double kill does come in. Closer, can he make it happen? The answer is no, because he's exhausted, and that's just 3 on the floor for the Bros. DNF pull it right back.
So well played. Polu, again, is there to defend. He's exactly in the right place, but there's just not enough backup. Croco's not in position, Closer's a little late, and the cleanup is so well played by DNF, especially Life doing everything to set up Berserker there. The exhaust was great just to deny the burst damage from the Aurora. And everything's going swimmingly for DNF in this one, other than that little hiccup in the bot lane.
And there is no vision here for the Bros, by the way. All of their vision is on bottom side to try and get them that second dragon.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing, is Polu thinking, okay, 2v2, we got this. More come in, he's like, I'm an Alistair, but the thing is, the damage reduction at level 6 isn't actually that high, so they're still doing a good amount to him, and they weren't taking tower aggro, so they then just cleaned up those 2 kills, and here the exhaust comes through from Life with the shield as well to stop the burst from finishing him off, and then Berserker just cleans it up when he has no cooldowns. Just really well played.
Yep, gorgeously done. I think that exhaust got so much value. That could have been Closer just nabbing a couple of kills, but wasn't the case. As the Bros well and truly on the back foot now, as you can see. 2.3k, the gold advantage.
We get the little dip, you know, and then the big upswing, right?
Oh, and now we just need to make sure that this is not history repeating itself, because there was a time that we did see Bro make a bit of a comeback in this matchup. I don't really like reminding everyone of it, but it could be happening once again. Last time around, certainly a few more stakes in it, as DNF weren't actually defeated. As okay, there's the Vault Breaker flash. Is Bulldog just going to be executed? They'll take Tibbers as well for a bit of 50 gold on top. And that's a kill going over to Morgan there at the same time. So nice little pick back. It's going to close that gold gap just a little.
Kind of just explode him, you know? Good setup there from Croco to find that kill. And again, just a little answer back. Not too significant overall, but picks like that will make a difference if you get enough of them.
Morgan getting a little scary now, the only one with a gold advantage on the Bros.
Yeah, it's just really hard with the flash coming in to layer the CC. There's just a limited response here. You can even see that, you know, Pyoshik and Life were in the vicinity, but when it's that quick, there's just not a ton you can do.
Yep. As Croco now looking to do it again. Doesn't have cease and desist available, as there is a control ward here.
No.
Yeah, Bro just going to set up the teleport and equalizer just to deal with the wave. Dudu knows that he's dead. Not even going to use the flash or anything like that. Morgan comes down. Pyoshik going to be answering this with feats of strength. Actually going to be completed earlier with that turret falling down in the mid lane. It's a big investment from the Bros.
This is not a good trade for the Bros right now. You're losing 2 towers. You're losing the Herald. This is not working out too favorably. And the fact that Dudu gets the ult the wave as well. I mean, look how healthy that tower is. You know, Morgan's not getting
They didn't do damage
value. Yeah, so, you know, yes, you ruined Dudu's scoreline. I'm sure he's really sad about that, but
I mean, the gold didn't actually expand. Like, Morgan was on like 600 ahead. Now it's only 550.
yeah. So I think Dudu making the right call in this situation. Just slam the equalizer. He knows his fate. Doesn't burn anything. Doesn't burn the flash.
Well, Morgan is now going to be able to take the turret.
Yeah,
so there's at least that.
I guess holding the TP as well is the main. Dudu could have TP'd there to defend the tower, but they opt not to use it to defend the tower. Instead, saving that for later. I will say one thing that's kind of come out of this. You know, we talked about the Aurora being a flex, being able to potentially answer the Rumble. Even though it wasn't a lane matchup, Closer's now laning into Dudu, and Dudu is not having a fun time.
Oh, Rift Herald. They're going to get the entire outer ring of turrets very comfortably here. DNF keeping up the tempo nicely as Life in position, just to be frustrating. And the Bros just want to catch Shelly as she's making her way through, deny that extra charge. That will actually come on down. So she's at least not going to soften up the inner turret. But now the map has become so much smaller here for the Bros, so much less space to work with. As Bulldog clearing out a lot of this excess vision. Next straight going to be up in 9 seconds time. This is well played from DNF. This is the time of the game that they have been pretty good at.
Yep. Yeah, definitely feels like this is the point where they've had leads, and this is more what we expected. Game 1 felt like a bit of an outlier because...
All right, Closer looking for Dudu here. As, all right, there's a fight. Cease and desist comes on through, and Croco tanks up the turret for about a year and is very happy to do so. Now he's going to look for a little bit of a reset. Life going to be moving up here towards this top side. An opportunity to head towards the dragon. That's exactly what Pyoshik is going to do.
Not a good place to be, it feels like, for DNF, is that top lane tower. Just another good punish from Croco. Will sacrifice the dragon, but they get this tier 1 tower, and it feels like just these little picks, these answers, Croco setting up plays and finding things, punishing people on the side is working out pretty favorably overall. Dudu didn't even get a chance to ultimate there to clear out the wave. And sure, it gives over the dragon, but it's a long way away from Soul right now for DNF, so I think Bro making some good moves there. Again, keeping the gold lead close. I mean, compared to game 1, where it's that constant flow upwards, this is going to be a very jerky gold grab.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like, as far as triaging the disadvantage that they did have in this game, doing a decent job. Still, don't want to take anything away from DNF. They are in still so much control, so much power in this game. So we're going to have a look at this one more time. Croco just making it impossible for Dudu to be able to do anything at all.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Bro have done a pretty good job of just assessing when there's a side of the map we're not interested in. Let's do something on the other side.
Yeah.
Just a snappy response that, in fairness, DNF haven't done a bad job of, like, being aware of that, but just when you're a little slow, when you're a little behind, you end up getting punished. It's happened twice already this game. They need to be on the watch out for that.
Well, here's a fight for the red buff, as the Bros, I think, are about to just give it up. Yeah, DNF going to be able to claim their prize. So no red buffs available here for Bro. And Croco was actually looking to try and answer, but there is no red buff on the other side. So
Gwen is just Gwenning, though. That is something I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, there is a bit of snipping going down towards the bottom side of the map. 1.6k is a considerable lead.
Yeah, I will say, though, part of it is because Dudu is really starved. So, like, if we compare...
Yeah, it doesn't have a massive amount of money, but has way more than Dudu, as he's dead again. The exhaust goes down. Morgan able to dash away from that last turret. Oh, Bulldog comes in and just says goodbye. And down goes the Gwen. Another stun is going to connect here onto Croco as well, as the Bolt Breaker is blocked gorgeously here by Bulldog. As Croco not even going to be allowed to flash away. Pioshik says goodnight, and that's a 1 for 2. Dudu pretty happy about sacrificing himself. I mean, he's not even worth all that much gold anymore, I could imagine.
Yeah, and a good response comes in from Bulldog. The flash as well to secure the kill onto the jungler. Well played there to get the 2, so more gold influx there. And it's just repeated punishes, answers in the side lane from Croco. Eventually, DNF find the response that makes them pay. And yeah, the point I was saying is that Morgan's closing in on 2 items, but you compare, Berserker's almost got his 3rd, and his 3rd's an IE, which is an expensive item, so his Lucian is very strong.
Yeah, he's been the main benefactor of this one. That lead is not really answered.
Yeah, you can see total gold. So like, even though Gwen has a massive lead, her gold's kind of in line with like a lot of her team. Whereas on the other side, everyone on DNF apart from Dudu is pretty far ahead, and Berserker's really, really far ahead.
Yep. Follow just going to be denied it back here.
It's basically support Rumble vibes is what we're getting at the moment.
Yeah. It's not exactly equalized, unfortunately. Because he's Rumble. Probably something that should be. So they go for this dive. Last time the dive worked out pretty well. This time around, doesn't quite work. The equalizer, once again, fantastic because he doesn't lose that much as far as minions are concerned.
Yeah, and also
at least there's that.
The slows that came through, just making sure that when Bulldog does get there, very easy to answer Morgan and then able to follow up on Croco. And Pioshik just makes sure that Croco, I think, was expecting him to try and get the flash over to the Dragon Pit. Doesn't let that happen.
Yep. Very nicely done. 40 CS, sorry, 30 CS, going to be the lead for Berserker as well, who has just been kind of dominating in the neutral game that's been going on as there's been insanity in the side lanes. Still, the gold lead hasn't really extended that much over the last 7-odd minutes, something like that. An Arakan fight might be on the menu. Oh my goodness.
When in doubt, just start Arakan.
Exactly. I think that that's exactly what both teams should be doing right now. Just starting Arakan, because why not?
Yeah. Life gets it.
He gets it, man. It's probably just been sitting in the coach's booth, you know, hanging out with Rapid Star, and Rapid Star's like, why aren't we just starting Arakan at all times?
Is bot lane, which Bro are unaware of, but it's a dangerous position to be in when Arakan is very much on the opposite side of the map.
Yep. He might even be tempted to take a red buff as well, but it looks like that's not going to be punished. Oh, goodness me. Okay, there is an Infinity Edge completed. Berserker is out of control.
Yeah, and Bro, I mean, they have decent setup around the Arakan. Croco's on, Pioshik's on bot side, but they just didn't have the information, so they don't start it. Which I get, like, they are behind, they don't really have the confidence to go for that, but it's just one of these situations where I feel like Pioshik's been a little greedy, you know, picking up those camps, hanging around there, but just Bro don't know, so what they don't know, can't really act on.
No.
But they've devoted so much focus and attention up to this Arakan, whereas DNF,
I think they need to start it or do something.
Because they're giving up control of the Dragon area, and Dragon's up for 15.
Yep, and it's going to be Soul Point as well.
Yeah, if you just let them take Dragon, and all you're doing is moseying on around Arakan, then it's really not going to work out favorably.
Well, now you got Pioshik moving up here towards the Arakan. There's still that one ward in the Baron Pit. That's about all they've got, as the Drake is going to spawn. Morgan gets the shove towards the bottom side of the map. Dudu will be catching that wave. A gold lead for the Gwen is still definitely there. 1 level advantage as well. So he's scary. Teleport at the ready, so he can come up here, try and make something happen. As Polo not too worried about getting stunned up by an Annie or anything like that. Pioshik looking for an angle towards Croco here, as Closer could also be in trouble. Tries to go between the worlds, but he's just stunned up. And that is a dead Aurora before she can do anything at all. Does do a bit of AoE damage, I guess, but here it's Arakan time for DNF. And the Bros, do they have an answer? That's the question. Hype off to the side, kind of awkward position here for this Corki as he's looking to chase down Bulldog. Does do a lot of damage, but there is the response. And he was just alone. The rest of the team had already backed away.
Yeah, that felt very desperate. And Berserker, so strong, so quick, just to dash over and basically two-tap him.
Yeah.
I think Bro spent so much time hanging around the top side, never really did anything, and then they're the ones to get collapsed on. So DNF have to take the Arakan there, now can look towards the Dragon as well.
It's a big advantage at the same time. Bro really getting punished for their indecision. And this is actually something that DNF have been doing pretty consistently in their matches as well. They have sort of this paralyzing moment at the end of the mid-game, but that's exactly what Bro are going through.
I think with the engage tools Bro have, if they just started the Arakan at any point in the last like 2 minutes, I think it would have gone better than this.
Yeah.
And even if the game had just been lost off the back of it, well, it's okay, you tried, but this just felt like such a...
And if Hype is going in, he needs the rest of his team to decide to go in as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, like, everyone from DNF was just like, what is he doing? Let's just kill him. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Let's just kill the Arakan now. And then it was just such a weird situation. The thing is as well, he could have just backed away. He wasn't forced to go in there.
Nope.
It was very weird. But yeah, now DNF, we've had a lot of up and down in this game. They've finally sort of gotten a more major lead, right? They have the Arakan buff in pocket. 3 dragons now, 1 away from Seoul.
Yeah, the pendulum has stopped swinging. It is now just in DNF's favor as Closer go between the worlds here, and does just put himself in a very uncomfortable spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to say unforced error on that one as Dudu wants to get the kill. Pyoshik is going to deny it.
There was definitely a way in which he could completely escape that situation, and that was not it.
It was not.
Yeah, especially he burned you could just flash out the right side of his ult and he's gone.
Yeah, something, maybe not year of Closer.
Well, we got the game of Closer.
We did get the game of Closer, that's true. Probably should have left it at that. As Croco on a little bit of a flank angle here.
Well, they find Bulldog. This could be a pick.
Could be an opportunity, as Tibbs is going to give away the position. It's a pretty optimistic Baron start as the culling comes through. That's a massive pulverize as Hype trying to keep himself alive. He's not going to be successful, but it is Berserker going down as well. And unfortunately, these wallets be heavy. And DNF, they just lose Berserker. Croco wasn't even interested.
Yeah, I mean, you see so much effort is put into taking down the Lucian. They finally get him. Their Corki's already dead. The rest of their team just getting demolished. So many people left alive on DNF. Croco's looking, but against an Annie, I'm not sure you're going to be able to find an angle to get close to that Baron. DNF healthy enough to slowly take this one, and yeah, Bulldog is playing bouncer, so it's going to be Baron secured here.
Yep, very nicely done. Locked up here by DNF, and they are not dropping the ball this time around.
Yeah, so, I mean, essentially...
Oh, do we have to?
If you're going to commit flat, just flash over the right here, but then he E'd backwards into it and then flashes over the left, which is just bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bit of an oopsie.
I would put it in the cons column.
But here, so Croco finds this great engage on a Berserker with the knockup from Polo. Hype set a follow-up, but again, they commit everything to kill this Lucian, and they just trade 80 carries and everyone just gets cleaned up immediately. It's like...
I like Croco was like, I've used my buttons, I'm out of here.
If Berserker was the Nexus, that would have been a great play. But he's not. And killing him doesn't win you the game. It doesn't even win you the fight. And the end result is they lose the fight, they lose the Baron, and DNF 5,000 gold ahead with Baron in pocket are in a pretty... Oh, no, Croco.
Yeah, there's a bear, and he's dead. Bulldog going to be able to lock that one down.
That was pretty quick. A lot of magic resist shred in this Annie.
Yeah, Zani's actually extraordinarily strong, but Pyoshik is the biggest problem right now from what we can see. 706 on the Wukong.
There's multiple problems.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2-item spike. How about the 3-item spike?
Yeah, a lot of problems, not many solutions. Even the Rumble feels a little intimidating. The support Rumble's coming online.
He certainly is. He's only 720 gold behind. The inhibitor turret not going to be answered.
The Braum with Lock of Redemption, you know, he's putting up some numbers.
Yeah, Life actually doing it once again. Gets subbed in, looks real good. I mean, the bottom lane, honestly, went a whole lot better. You can imagine the matchup feels a whole lot better just in general, but I think the way they played it, also an improvement here as Closer ults behind him. This Aurora has not been the thing.
Yeah. And you know what I'm feeling pretty confident about? That Wukong Annie win rate in the Rise group.
Yeah, feeling like that Wukong Annie thing is going to continue looking good.
Yep, feeling pretty stable, pretty solid right now.
I think Game 3 is also going to be real weird.
I can't wait for it.
As
we were promised.
We've got so many power picks. Now just Fearless Band, right? Like the Aurora, the Gwen, the Vi. The Annie, Wukong, and Rumble all just missing.
Yeah.
The top lane matchup going to be kind of insane, although it might just be Ornn Cho'Gath.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I mean, it is kind of fun. Oh, wow, we could actually have two of the greatest skins in the game. Gentleman Cho'Gath and the Train Driver Ornn.
Oh,
My
that'd
goodness. Choo-choo, up you go. Wonderful. DNF just going to be clearing out the last remaining inner turret here. As the bros, I don't know how you really even throw the Hail Mary. That's the roughest part of this.
I think you just send it, start a fight.
They're going to look for it. Between Worlds available again here for Closer, but the inhibitor is just going to be dead, and Berserker just culls Closer. And he is out of here.
Yeah, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we're going to have to go for some sort of something, but Polu's just dead. And the bros, they're like, no, this is not the time.
Probably at some point before your Nexus dies. Generally is a good time to fight. Any time before your Nexus dies.
That would be a good option. Let's see whether they can make that one happen as Morgan goes golden. First Nexus turret is looking to go down, though, as Between Worlds is actually employed. Bulldog down pretty low, but unfortunately, it's not low enough as the bros just gonna get incinerated by this support Rumble. He picks up a double kill. Redemption for Dudu as the Nexus goes down, and DNF will bring us to a game 3 this time.
And honestly, there were moments in the mid-game where it's a little bit up and down for DNF, but, you know, the place where we've given them the most criticism, the place where they've struggled the most, closing games out, no hesitation at all, and especially bouncing back from a game 1 where they've really never had control. This felt good. This felt solid. And I think, you know, Life, a player who's, like most of DNF, struggled throughout this split. It feels like he's a bit of a super sub at the moment. He comes in.
Yeah.
The team looks a lot better when he comes into the roster.
Yep, just downloads during game 1, and then looks real good in the second one. The bros, I think, yeah, not having their greatest of performances. Unfortunately, after Closer had one of the greatest Yone games of his career, he then had a few whoopsies in a row on the Aurora. Started beautifully, honestly, by Pyoshik. That level 3 gank really set the tone for this whole game.
Yeah.
And the bros just couldn't find the front foot.
I mean, I think Pyoshik played it really well. I think Bulldog had some good moments, some good setups. Bot lane as well, really punished in that matchup.
Yep.
Let the Corky Alistair go free.
Absolutely. So DNF, they do it. They bring us to that game 3 that we all deserve. And now, a game 3 with Fearless. We could get some crazy picks. Time for a break. When we come back, the space going to break it down. We'll have game number 3 for you. See you soon.
천천히 해. 그냥 막아야 돼. 그냥 아래 타워부터 해줘. 너 왼손만 잘 잡아. 야, 필마다. 약간 없어. 괜찮아, 에어컨 돼. 평타 쳐줘, 나오면. 오케이. 얘네 뭐 없어, 거? 평타 쳐줘. 오로라 볼게, 오로라. 자, 얘들아. 잡았어. 해줘. 거기 바로 참격해줘. 필드 줄게. 나를 살려줄래, 똥 아, 제발요. 나이스. 굿. 나한테 너무 잘못했다. 많이 못다. 요즘 탑이 그래. 이게 알고 있어도 당할 수밖에 없어. 잘했다.
Now, the Zinzao, massive priority. Talia, huge. Ambassador there as well for both Dudu and Morgan. It has been a big favorite of theirs. And Orianna Pantheon are definitely going to get banned. Let's see what is going to be going away first. It will be the Orianna. Pantheon will be the answering ban. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, even though we've had some high prio jungle bans so jungle is taken away by Fearless, there was a lot of jungle bans. So I imagine we'll see those continue.
Yep.
Just on the fact that, especially in Game 3, you don't want to leave those open. You don't want to let someone get, as you said, Xin Zhao when Trundle's already been taken away, when Wukong's already been taken away, or like the Pantheon. I think the Taliyah definitely a standout as well later on in this draft. It'll be interesting to see what sort of prioritize, though, early on with so many picks taken away.
Yeah, this is the interesting part, is what do you actually get your hands on once these bans will come through? The Xin Zhao, I think Poppy, Taliyah need to be addressed. Otherwise, they could be snapped up. There is the Taliyah ban to come on through. And Pyosik, you can see a little bit of stress here, but they have kept themselves alive in this series. There are both of those champions that I was just talking about. The Ambessa might make sense as the final ban. That would be just exactly the same champions banned that we saw in game number 2. And that means that we will have just a fresh draft without any of the champions that we saw picked in the last game up and available. Just have to see whether they do decide to take away the Ambessa or whether it's going to be something else that they now deem a little bit more important. And there is the Jarvan instead.
Maybe suggesting they want to go towards a Sivir, you know?
Yeah.
So I wonder if Bro are aware of that.
Nico also up and available, another high priority pick.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I just get the vibe that this is going to lean a little bit towards more scaling compositions. A lot of these picks taken away, especially with so many top laners gone. Maybe we end up in a scenario with a lot of the tanks being picked up.
Yep.
Definitely something that Morgan could lean towards. That being said, the Ambessa's still there, and they really look into Prio where they first pick that, immediately lock it in. But if a throwdown towards the DM Freaks here, Morgan feeling very confident.
Well, this is interesting. Okay, so Nico being considered. I think the Sivir priority should be pretty high. Like you mentioned, the Jarvan does give away the fact that they would like to head that direction. And Nico going to be the first cab off the rank, perhaps, is never mind. That'd be an extremely early Kai'Sa pick if they do decide to lock that one away. But instead, Nico going to be the decision first up. We'll see where they go afterwards.
Definitely feels like snapping up some of these picks that are left available and open that we wouldn't typically see as much high prior on normally. And it looks like it could just be that Nico Kai'Sa lane. So Berserker and Life, having had a good matchup last time in the 2v2, are like, no, we want to prioritize, have a really strong bot duo. Even though the 2v2 of like the Kai'Sa isn't that great, I feel like the Nico is one of the better pairings because you are a ranged pick.
Yep.
Kind of give some strength in that 2v2 and just ensuring you have a strong combo when you get to the 5v5s. But you can pick things into this that give it a hard time, you know?
Yeah. The Karma value is now very high.
Sivir Karma would be a rough matchup to play into in the lane, so we'll see what they opt to go for.
Keeps things pretty interesting as well, because then we get another round of bans where junglers could go away, where solo lanes could go away.
I find it really weird that they ban the Jarvan and then they pick this and it kind of sets up for like the Sivir Karma being really high value.
Yeah, Kai'Sa really doesn't care about Jarvan that much.
In fact, Kai'Sa appreciates Jarvan.
Yeah. And Pyosik is certainly a jungler that can make things happen on the Jarvan as well, known for early aggression. So, bit of a weird one. Jhin Karma gives me a lot less happiness. You saw Hype's face there in on the camera as well, and kind of mirrors how I'm feeling about it. Just nonplussed.
It's still a strong lane though. Still gives a lot of pressure onto the Kai'Sa Nico. I think if Kai'Sa Nico gets into the team fights, a lot of dive potential, a lot of threat, but in the 2v2 you're gonna have a rough time. And there's gonna be a lot of pressure. So I think Ro, having played the Corki Alistair and been on a rough receiving end, are like, no, we need something to make sure we have a strong laning phase. We do see the Rise locked in, which kind of crazy to have the Rise, you know, in the game 3.
Yeah.
So many things taken away, and then Bulldog snapping that one up, and then being able to go through the next round of bans as well, taking away the Cassiopeia, which is something Closer's played a lot.
He does like it.
So I think Bulldog feeling very happy being able to snap that one up.
And now Jungle is going to be banned away on the side of OK Man Brion. Another mid lane, possibly, just to be taken off the board here. Maybe a Victor to be removed from Closer, although I don't really associate Closer as a Victor player. Will be the Galio instead. But I don't really like Galio with Bro's comp. I think they want more damage if they can find it.
Yeah, also you don't really have the setup for the Galio.
Yeah.
Like, I think Galio really, you want to have like a support who goes in and then you ult on top. A jungler can also serve that, but a lot of those junglers are picks like Jarvan or Wukong who aren't available, so...
What about Gragas jungle?
We haven't seen...
Does he jungle anymore?
I mean, he can, but I just feel like not really seeing him that much in this meta.
Because I just want Yasuo. That's
Oh, you want Gragas Yasuo?
That's what I want.
I mean, you could. Maybe Diana Yasuo.
Oh, there you go. I don't know whether that's going to happen either. The
I don't
Dusante,
think so.
a consideration here, and can be a little bit of a rough one into the Ambessa, but we know that Dudu is fantastic on this champion. So pretty stable draft so far here for the DN Freaks. As where are we going, bro? What is this draft going to look like? Are they going to pick Yasuo? They're probably not. I don't know whether it's a good idea here. As I feel like Nico does a number on his engage attempts anyway.
I mean, do we see something like... It looks like they're just going to go for the Victor that you were talking about. Again, not a pick we definitely associate with Closer, but one they're going to take. And then the Skarner. So
Ooh.
I was thinking maybe they go for something more aggressive, maybe like Ari Viego or something like that. They go for something very much front to back.
That's Hecarim.
That is Hecarim.
Okay, well, Pioshik is going to be riding the horse. Let's see how it goes. Was Hecarim... He was buffed a little on this patch, was he not? Or was that the previous one?
I don't think on this one.
I think something happened to him relatively recently. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just getting my patch notes mixed up. No, I don't think so. Having a look over it right now just briefly.
I mean,
no, his E cooldown was actually lowered by a decent margin.
Wait, on this
4
patch?
seconds. Yeah.
Oh.
Unless this is, I'm like looking at ARAM changes. No, that is actually ARAM changes.
You're
Never
looking at
mind. I scrolled too fast, okay?
You know what? I'm slightly worried about.
I know you're a huge ARAM fan.
You know what I'm slightly worried about?
What?
What if Pioshik also looked at the ARAM?
Oh
changes?
no! He's like, man, I really don't have my cool. It's supposed to be 4 seconds earlier than this.
Yeah.
I would be the same. I'm glad I picked that up though, because that would have been a very embarrassing situation there. And so that's obviously what I read, and unfortunately, it's irrelevant right here. But for that ARAM enjoyer guy that's always in chat, he's pretty psyched about checking out some Hecarim. Just don't expect the cooldowns to be quite as good as your experience. But yeah, haven't seen Hecarim in a while. Looking forward to seeing how it goes for Pioshik here as we dive into the Rift for Game 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
I'm a bit sad that we don't also get a Malphite, because you don't get to complete the ultimate trio as the Unstoppable Force, the Unstoppable Onslaught, and the Onslaught of Shadows. It's just a lot of things that are just doing unstoppable and onslaughting stuff.
Yeah.
With those three.
I'm a little worried about...
What are we worried about?
DNF composition.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit worried, but, you know, I'm ready for the Hecarim vibes.
What could possibly go wrong? We do have to go back and have a bit of a discussion about some things, some whoopsies that have happened with Hecarims in the past.
Oh, no.
Now, Hecarim is an equine champion.
Yeah.
Meaning that generally runs faster than a lot of the other champions. There is a good thing in the fact that there's a Realm Warp available for Bulldog. There is also the Killer Instinct from Berserker. So theoretically there's follow-up, but what Hecarims tend to do is go in and wonder where their team is.
Yeah. I mean, at least the Kai'Sa and the Nico will hopefully be there to follow up, but the thing is, you know, especially into like Karma, Jhin, Victor, I feel like they can do a decent job of kind of kiting you out, unless you find a good angle. And also, if the Jhin is just miles away and you're like, I'm going to charge him down, you can end up in a really bad spot. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think Hecarim definitely a momentum-based champion, you know, can clear very fast. And I think we've all seen those games where Hecarim just feels unkillable.
Yeah.
And just a menace who can't be stopped. And then we've seen the games where he just gets one shot. So obviously, Pioshik hoping for the former.
Well, let's see what's going to happen here. As right now, the Bros just very happy about where the lane state is in this bottom lane this time around. Blue side has just been better at getting a hold of the lane, as we've seen in both of our games so far. So good news for Bro fans, as we are grasping a lot here towards the top side of the map on the Bros side of things. Pureshik taking the phase rush, as is customary, as Genji was the last one to play this against Pureshik.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like, what, almost 4 years? Kind of crazy. So let's see whether Pureshik can channel some peanut here. As 3 Kaisers, my goodness, it's too many Kaisers, I think, in that bottom lane. Just playing all for one all of a sudden. Was I checking the all for one stats, maybe? It's the wrong patch notes, definitely.
Keep updated on those.
Yep. I think it's Doombots that are coming back sooner, though. So
It is. That's hype.
Yep, that's going to be very, very cool.
It has been a long time since, I think it was like 9 years.
Yeah, like really, really long time. And I think now with some adjustments to, you know, how the bots are going to behave, it's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that one. But it's neither here nor there. We're not going to be playing Doombots in the LCK, although maybe we could petition
Feels like
Doombots for some content.
It feels like at times when you're playing against Genji, it's a little bit like going against Doombots.
Yeah, a little bit. As there is a nice little snare onto Hype. Polu takes a casual turret shot. That is the calmer way. As Lucidity Boots for Pureshik often is going to be a very early buy, as, okay, Rise in the Rise group, not exactly working out. It's a little bit sad, isn't it? Because this is the group of Rise.
Yeah.
It feels like it should be good for him. It's almost ironic.
Feels kind of bad for him. You know, I feel like sometimes those stats come up and they just, you know, like last time it felt maybe a bit like, guys, don't worry. We're here for you. So Wukong Annie, you're going to win anyway. This time it feels a little bit like, oh, that's not.
Yeah, and like, sometimes we don't, like, bring up stats at all. Like, for example, Bulldog hit his 1,000th assist in the last game. We didn't bring that up.
Oh.
But we could have. Would have been fine. But poor Rise in the Rise group. Oh, no, both of those Qs also missed.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
I think I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, curses are real, as it turns out. We don't bring up the graphic.
He was hitting
Closer,
those.
Get the cannon. You're making me anxious. Oh, he did.
He was hitting those cues before the graphic came up, is all I'm going to say.
Exactly.
You know, self-fulfilling prophecy and all that.
Yeah. It's one of those things. At least it's another one in the curses are real column, which is what we are always really banking on. As Hype, Void Seeker is going to come on through there. Nice snare going to connect at the same time, but the answering Q Deadly Flourish is good. All right, bros. We're in a little bit of trouble as Pureshik already cantering in there. Does get the pushback onto Hype, who goes down exceedingly low as Polu trying to keep Bulldog in position, but the turtle port from Closer just takes a billion years to get him there.
It's so funny every time I see those early teleports. It's just like, guys, I'm coming.
Yeah, just wait. Any minute now.
Any minute. I think teams have gotten so used to it that they just don't care when they say, oh, no.
Yep. Croco is driving in, looking to try and lock down Dudu here. Will be able to throw a rock at him. He goes all out and does flash away.
Okay.
As Morgan, I think, was thinking about a bit of a public execution angle, but doesn't find one there onto Dudu.
Probably not when he's that close to the tower now, so. But yeah, I mean, Dudu evades the gang pretty good. But yeah, this was really well played. TP comes in, they're not threatened at all. They look for Hype specifically, they're like, we want to kill the AD carry, deny him. Unfortunately, as Nico gets it, but I like they just kind of leave it. They know that the Q is going to finish it off.
Croco is almost dead in the mid lane. We saw that picture-in-picture was kind of snared under the turret. Life has been hitting so many of these Tangle Barbs.
Yep. Oh, Yoshik looking.
Yeah. As Closer just going to flash away. Doesn't want anything to do with this horse right now. And I don't really blame him. Always makes me think of Sleepy Hollow. Did you like that film? I was a big fan of that one.
I did not see that film.
It was pretty cool. It was where Christopher Walken was a headless horseman, which was great.
It's ironic that he's called Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I know.
He wasn't really walking.
Well, I mean, actually, all he was doing was walking.
Oh.
Because he couldn't do very much talking.
Oh.
Then?
I thought he would have been riding, though.
He does, well, yeah, actually, he did do a fair bit of riding. He did walk as well, but definitely didn't talk very much. Which is like...
So he's not Christopher Tolkien.
No, he wasn't. He certainly was. And Christopher Walken is certainly one for like pretty iconic talking as well.
Yeah.
So the fact that he wasn't doing very much of that was just... I feel like it's a bit of a waste of that incredible accent, but what can you do? Still, great film. If you haven't seen it, certainly give that one a go. After our next series and this one, because of course we do have T1 versus HLE coming up after this, and that is going to be a banger. As hopefully HLE have improved at least enough to bring us to 3 games.
Yeah, normally the main event comes second, but obviously we put it first.
We put it first this time around, yeah.
Yeah, and then the...
We did it yesterday, though, where our Rise Group extravaganza happened the second time, and I think a lot of people were pretty tired and weren't ready for it, and then it was as magnificent as it was.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
So we put it first this time. As Croco going to be able to take one of these grubs. There is Pyosik going in, but the gravity field was pretty good. Immediate use of the Impale onto Pyosik, but the answering damage is going to be there from DNF as Hype. Not really doing too much. Does have a 4th bullet, doesn't really do much with it. And then crash into the wall there, but unfortunately is going to die midair as the disengage cone tries to come in. And DNF off to a great start. Feats of Warfare coming on through.
And you know what, Pyosik? He's just kind of vibing. He just rides in, tanks everything with his W, soaks up a load of damage, doesn't die, picks up the honey fruit, and his team kind of clean up. It's just working.
This horse, man, it's doing some things. Let's have a look at this one more time. And I was worried that the follow-up wasn't quite going to be there in time, but of course, Kaisa has killer instinct, so in she comes.
I thought he was going to die as well. He took a lot of damage, but they just didn't do enough. And you see like the ult from Closer comes out, but Pyosik's already done his job. The rest of them are just pushing forward, cleaning up. And I think the fact that Closer ulted to try finish Pyosik was a mistake. If he had that ult for those other members, I think maybe he could have done more there.
Oh, that's annoying. Morgan just going to have to dash away. A huge scream from the crowd as well, as the DNF fans are going bananas. Very, very good to see. And they are looking to try and close this one out. As, like you mentioned earlier on, means a lot for the drama of the Rise Group if this win does come on in. Because also the Bros are actually able to, I think, almost equalize with B&K Fear X with a victory over the DN Freaks in this series right here.
Oh, then no, there'd still be a series down.
Still a series down? Okay.
But
so they're really far away if they lose this series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like, but if they win it, you know, they would be 3 series ahead of DRX when there's really just not that many series left. So, but a win for DNF here, DRX fans would very much appreciate.
Yep. And it's once again Berserker with the big lead.
Yeah.
So comes on over to help out, taking this first Hextech Dragon. Chemtech going to be the next one off the table. No Chemtech Drakes so far today, Orcs. I'm very proud of you.
I'm doing my best.
Doing a great job. As Closer, we'll be able to catch this wave. Not quite able to do as much as... Oh, Bulldog's going to miss a cannon. That's fine.
It's fine.
Just giving a little back here to the one member of Bro who is doing a decent job. Of course, the same can be said for Morgan, who is just kind of dealing with Dudu, dancing around this top side.
I think with how things are going so far, this is a great start, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I've had great starts for DNF before that have kind of backfired, but at the end of the day, Berserker being fed, always a good omen for this team.
Not to mention the fact that this bottom lane was highly prioritized in the draft, and they're benefiting from it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they had a rough lane, right? They got bullied out, but they weathered the storm, and now they're ahead. And you pick the Kais and Nico for what they really offer in team fights. It is such a strong duo for team fighting presence. And they got out the lane, they managed to navigate that. Now, Croco is looking for a gank here, but Pyosik's also in the area.
Yeah, let's see whether Croco can actually find an angle, as Deadly Flourish will be avoided. Life, quick on his feet. And Polo and Hype going to be able to clear out this ward quite nicely. Pyosik realizing there's not quite an angle. He's going to look for a little bit of a reset, as the same thing can be said for the DN Freaks.
And it's just a trade of heals. You can see how cautious Pro were about committing too heavily to that plate. You know, Croco doesn't even look for like an ult in or something like that. Just very aware that if Pyosik's there, if he comes with a counter gank, it is game over.
Oh, yeah. Well, Morgan with a bit of a health advantage here, but you can see Dudu is doing just fine up here. The dancing around these buttons that Dudu is throwing out, though, is pretty impressive out of Morgan. Well, at least give him that. hasn't been hit by too much. As Polo comes on over, oh dear, taking the rise for a walk, gets the flash out. As a little bit of an overstep, you could say. All out, now invested here by Dudu. It's a public execution up and available for Morgan if he'd like to press that button. Let's see whether he does go for it here. Looks like it's not going to be the thing. As dash around for Dudu once again, able to get a fair bit of damage with the last few moments of the all out.
Yeah, you can see Dudu stepped up to get the plate, and then Morgan was trying to find an angle.
Oh dear, the Rune Prison does come on through, and actually Pyosik able to avoid Croco Pop Blossom, and down goes the victor. Life is actually just the savior of DNF today.
Oh, he is, and Pyosik had such a great setup on that play to just bounce him and kind of redirect Closer into his waiting support. Really well played there, and another kill for DNF, 2,500 gold lead.
This is just getting out of control.
Yeah, they're in such a good spot right now. And the thing is, Bro's composition, I feel like they're going to be waiting so long for this Victor to come online. I mean, we see here, Pyosik makes his way in, knocks into him, and then ults as well to once again just fear him straight into life.
Yeah, Croco couldn't actually land any sort of pushback or anything like that as well because Pyosik is so incredibly mobile.
And Closer had Flash, didn't even get a chance to use it.
Well, at least he now has it if he's ganked again. So there's that. But as you can see, with this gold difference, it is just DNF getting further and further ahead.
And his life is 202. He has the rocket belt already.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's a scary Nico.
It's such a nice item to have on Nico because it makes your engages so much easier to get, especially if you don't have flash. Like being able to rocket belt when you're setting up your ult. But also that item just has a ton of health on it. So you're actually so much more durable when you have that.
He's feeling fantastic with the situation right now. Closer did manage to hit the Rod of Ages a lot earlier. You can see that Bulldog still doesn't even have his yet. But that is about the end of the good news, because also Closer needs to build into like 2 items at least, I think.
Yeah, it also feels like if you look at the items, it's kind of like Closer finished his Rod of Ages as soon as possible, whereas like Bulldog's
got some shoes.
Stalling it out to try and get like the later level up, you know? We sometimes see our mid laners go for that, because I think with Rise, especially if you get like the 15 to 16 level up, then you're feeling really fantastic.
Yep. Hype not caught reloading, able to get all of these minions. That's good to see. But we're clutching at straws if that's all the positives that we can find. Second Drake going to be up in 30 seconds. And maybe the Bros, they need their Lord to save them. Right now, he does have level 11, so has an extra point in that ulti, as he is putting that Essence Reaver to work.
It does help a lot because you get the armor pen from
Yeah.
the points in your ultimate, so especially into a tank matchup, it does make a big difference, even if you're not necessarily using the ult in the 1v1.
All right, now you've got Feats of Strength on the line here for DNF if they do manage to take this Rift Herald. And it looks like it's not going to be contested as Polo is moving in. Hype finds Berserker, or does Berserker find Hype? As that is so much damage. Croco just moving in. It is going to be a smite fight, and it's won here by the Scorpion, who just walks over, picks up the eye. I don't think he's making it out, but at least manages to steal away the objectives. There's at least that. As Deadly Flourish here from Hype is going to be able to continue clearing out the wave. Highway robbery.
I think all things considered, Bro will take that. You know, they get the objective, they secure it. Yes, Croco goes down, but as you said, kind of a bit of a crazy one that he's able to slide in and steal that away.
Also got, like, he's got 36 Heartsteel stacks as well, so there you go. Hype, I mean, he is dead if Polo isn't there, so thankfully Polo is there.
Yeah. This Jhin is not feeling too intimidating right now.
No, it's not quite the Jhin we saw yesterday, which was doing a lot of damage. This one, not so much. DNF just looking to grab the Feats of Strength. There it is. Dragon does go down. They'll also look for the first turret, as the Bros are at least able to move on in here. Another Cloud Soul, 2 in a row. You'd love to see it. And that is going to be the wave cleared out here by Closer.
Oh, Cloud Soul with Hecarim?
Oh dear, Bulldog could be in a little bit of trouble as Croco pushes him over. Life is in trouble, but he finds the Pop Blossom angle only onto one, but it's the most important one. The flashback does come on through, and Berserker turns up in the nick of time. Croco looks for the angle there as Pyosik kills the turret before it gets to take him down, and DNF, they can do no wrong in this game.
Beautiful answer back there, and that play, that's a difference between having the rocket belt and not. Life able to catch Closer, and the follow follow-up. The cleanup is there. The setup is great. And now it's a 5,000 gold lead for DNF in this game. They're in a fantastic position. And you know, it was such a break between the first and second series wins. It's not been long since that second. We might be getting another.
Exactly. This DNF are looking terrifying right now.
I mean, this is the biggest win Bro got in this game so far, was Croco dying to get the Herald.
Yeah.
And here, so Life retreats into the brush, gets out of vision, and then he goes for the ult, but they expect it, so they kite back, but the rocket belt means he catches Closer, catches Polo, gets the root afterwards.
Yeah, Polo actually walked in afterwards, which
unfortunate.
is not super great. And this could have been a good impale, but unfortunately they got so much damage down onto the turret that they just kill it. And so it doesn't really do anything at all. Oh man, DNF, I mean, I'm not gonna say, like, it's the Rise group, right? So we're not gonna call anything. However, this is looking similar to their last series.
All I'm gonna say is, maybe some of the teams are pretty lucky that DNF can't qualify for Worlds anymore.
Exactly. All of the other regions are like, oh, thank goodness. We don't have to deal with this.
Maybe our region too, you know.
Well, I mean, that's true, but everyone looking on is like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
we dodged this bullet.
Yeah.
Could have been coming our way. Well, Realm Warp going to come on through there as the Void Seeker is going to connect. Bulldog just going to be turning up by himself, but that will guarantee this outer turret. That's what DNF needs to do. Take incremental advantages, use the power that they have of those wallets, no overextensions. Looking real good so far. And Polo desperately just trying to get any semblance of control. And remember, he's playing Karma, so when you fall behind, getting vision becomes so difficult.
Yeah. Morgan still doing pretty good in the 1v1, and that is it. That's the only selling point. That's
Yep,
the only
thanks for
thing I
the
can see.
gold comes up here and says, you're exactly right, Orcs.
Yeah, he's still
Look at the top number. If you just cover the red numbers, looking good for the bros.
Guys, if you want to know where your bro tax is going, that's where.
Yeah, it's going straight to the Lord. He is not given much out to his people at this point in time.
Yeah.
He'd like to, but unfortunately it's slim pickings at the moment.
Which I don't think you can really blame him for, because, you know, if we're blaming anyone for the bro tax, it's the people who may or may not be contributing. So
Yeah, it's, like, I mean, if you start donating now, it could be that they have a miraculous comeback.
they've come back from bigger deficits,
Exactly.
is all I'm saying.
Against this team, the last time they met, in fact. It was relatively close. DNF get to show us some character progression, though. And with a clean closeout of this game, as well as the second one, could really show some growth, as Pyoshik just dives onto Arakan.
Okay, a little bit concerning, because if they get the Arakan here, they have a huge gold lead.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot of anyone being able to see anything at all.
There's a good chance we don't get... The game might end before the Cloud Soul. And I personally, I don't know about you, Max, but I kind of want to see Hecarim with Cloud Soul in my LCK
that's
game.
a very fast horsey.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're all here for.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just comes down to movement speed scaling in the end. As Life is going to have his back stopped. That's an attempt from the bros to get some sort of tempo back here, as there's that Rift Herald that they sacrificed Croco for.
Let's see if it gets the value they were hoping for. Yeah?
It won't.
Yeah,
Well, it is instead transformed into 25 gold for Pyoshik.
Maybe that's what they were hoping to get.
Perhaps, yes. Well, it's a 6.6k gold lead, and the Rift Herald apparently was not worth taking in the end.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know, maybe it's worth more in a less practical sense and more in a just, we got it.
Look, it was, I always like to say about these things, it was a zoning Rift Herald.
Ah, I like it.
Yeah.
Because it let Bro get in position for this Drake.
No.
Ah.
If you look, Croco's actually clearing his camp, so it zoned DNF away.
Look at this.
Oh, the Realm Warp.
Huge tempo play.
Oh.
And there are no bros to speak of. There is 2 teleports available, but they are just going to lose this inner turret.
They didn't want that tier 2 tower anyway.
No, tier 2 turrets aren't necessary. As Closer's like, well, thanks for the huge stacked wave, guys. Haha. Checkmate. It's now a bigger lead. And DNF this was a composition that was also just going to look better and better as this game goes on, especially if they can snowball it. They have a true tank for that top side of the map.
I think the thing that I was the most worried about was probably the Hecarim, because I feel like the champ is quite feast or famine, and he is feasting. So
He is definitely feasting.
He is in a great spot. Also has the upgraded boots, so extra movement speed there. Just a lot of movement speed, a lot of zoom in.
Yeah.
4 minutes till that Cloud Soul. I'm hoping, I'm praying, it needs to happen.
Well, DNF have an opportunity to do it. What they should have done, though, was give up the first 2 Drakes so that they could have the quad stack.
Oh.
That would have been pretty sick. Of course, Double Dragon is pretty good.
That'd be in the tech.
Yep. All right, Pioshik is just trying to be frustrating. Not able to take down that control ward, as we can see. As in goes Life, just going to be bothering Morgan momentarily with that Shape Splitter. And the Bros will eventually have to do something, right?
You say that. We've had games. This is like old school, bro. You know, the time when they would kind of just fall behind and not much would happen.
Do you know what's the really sad part?
What?
Umpty's on the desk today.
Oh.
He's here. The general is actually here to give the Bros his energy. But it's not the type of energy that they needed in this one.
Maybe it works in the other direction, because Umpty knows all about, you know.
Yeah, some of the pitfalls.
But also the DNF vibes of, you know, you're out.
Yeah,
not down.
That's true.
And they come back and
maybe he's just feeding the flames of DNF right now.
Yeah.
As Berserker just able to supercharge his way out of any trouble.
Underdog energy, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Because right now, coming in this series, bro, were the overdogs.
They were. And DNF have Bulldog, so quite a few dogs, as well as horses. It's, yeah, old MacDonald had a farm and all that sort of stuff. A dog's not necessarily a huge necessity in a farm. Actually, no, they are.
They're pretty
sheep
important.
dogs, very important, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. Plus also, you know, companionship.
True. All right, well, the Bros have continued to do not a whole lot. And the gold lead is still 7.4K. If it stays at 7.4K and we get to 60 minutes,
yeah, that feels
guess
better.
what? It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not fine.
It just keep farming.
Yeah.
Keep farming.
If your Nexus stays alive forever, you still haven't lost the game.
Yeah. You know, remember that? Wasn't there that game where like Nexus Blitz, where if the game goes on too long, the Nexus is like get up and like run at each other?
I don't remember that.
Maybe bro, we're just hoping that happens eventually. If the game goes on long enough, the Nexus.
There's only one way to find out.
The Nexus will just rise up.
Yep.
And just start walking at DNF and help them out a little bit.
Hopefully it's better than the Rift Herald from earlier.
I feel like it'd probably go down the same.
Yeah. All right, well, there's a shape-splitting Nico. Life just being annoying once again, landing all the buttons.
I mean, Pioshik's also super far ahead in farm.
Yeah.
They are looking towards the Baron. And bro are just trying to like scan out brushes. It's so scary. It's very spooky.
I want to see Morgan involved. That's what I want to see. He's even, kinda. Still ahead a bit. All right. This is going to get spotted immediately. And they have this cheeky little ward the Bulldog is standing on, but this Baron is still going down. There's the flash forward, the Impale, just to try and pick up Bulldog, but he flashes away. The Pop Blossom picks up 2, but they've taken down the Rise already. Morgan still looking for a bit of an angle here as Pioshik looking to run his way out. Dudu going to get taken for a walk here as he is snared up. There's a nice double knockback, and the Dusante is popping off. He takes down the Victor, and now he's looking for more. Morgan's ult just goes nowhere, but he's still able to do the damage. Never mind. It's Berserker that locks him down in the end, and Polu is the product of a potential quadra kill, but it doesn't actually come through as Pioshik locks that one up for the ace, and DN Freaks not going to be routed this time.
The cleanup comes through. The Baron base successful. We're denied the Cloud Soul Hecarim, but I don't think DNF care. The 3rd series win gonna come through. I think
no, I heard
this, yeah?
Go back. The Drake's up. The Drake's up, guys. It's time for super fast Hecarim. We need it. Never mind. We're not going to get it. The Nexus turrets are going to go down. There are 6 seconds on Croco and Closer, but they are just going to be spectators as this Nexus goes down, and the DN Freaks pick up another one.
And honestly, super convincing, I would say. Bro have looked like a force to be reckoned with in the Rise group, and DNF looked significantly better today. And in some ways, it's bittersweet because you think if DNF, because they have been improving, if they were playing at this level, maybe we could have seen them be competitive, make it into...
It's palm time.
Yeah, make it into play-ins.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're showing some good performances, and the fans definitely excited about it.
The fans are going nuts today. Like, this is, like, one of the biggest turnouts that we've had for the DN Freaks. Like, look at this guy. I mean, he's there every week. Never mind. He lives and breathes the DN Freaks, as we can see. Signed jersey from everyone as the Dusante reigns supreme once again. And man, the DN Freaks did it. I kind of thought this was going to be the back and forth and blue side wins throughout the series. Doesn't happen. This guy gets on the horse and makes things happen. Rapid Star pretty happy with how his jungler performed today.
I mean, as he should be. I mean, Pioshix has had a pretty fantastic day. I mean, the fact he brought out the Hecarim, had a great performance on it. The Wukong as well.
Yeah.
Was really impactful on that. I think Life too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where the POM is, right? Is it going to be Pioshik with the crazy picks, also the great angles in the early game, or is it Life just turning up and winning back-to-back games, transforming this bottom lane as well?
Life's just like, he feels like the super sub.
Yeah.
It's crazy that this guy was on this roster for the whole season, and they've struggled, and then now it just feels like they sub him and they're revitalized. And that's no shade at all on Quantum, but it just feels like Life, the pressure's not there anymore, and we're just seeing what we know this player could do before, and they've struggled to replicate, and now I think that's it. We've seen this time and time before when the pressure of competing, of trying to qualify is gone. Suddenly it just feels like we see what we know these players could do, but wasn't really coming together. And I think it's just reminding us of what we said so many times before, that these players are all capable of more than what they're showing.
Yeah, you might be the worst player in the the worst team in the LCK, but you are still in the LCK. And all of these teams deserve respect, as the Bros weren't able to do it in this one. The DN Freaks, they knew exactly what they wanted. Remember, they locked in this bottom lane immediately. They had a plan, they played to it. And one thing I do want to say is that the Victor Skarner situation is something that I don't want to see from the Bros again. That is something that I think Chovy and Canyon can get done, but it's not something that Closer and Croco are going to thrive on.
I don't think it fits them. I don't think it gave me huge confidence here, but I just don't think it fits them.
Yeah.
I think it's the main thing. I think, especially Croco has just been such a driving force for this team. And I think putting him on Skarner, he just seemed so behind the pace compared to this horse he was charging about. And you know, Pioshik just kind of ran him around the map.
Yep. And, oh wait, no, so it has to be a Life POM, right? Because he didn't lose a game. It was in fact only Quantum, so he's the only member of the team that didn't lose.
I mean, it depends by what metric you're going by. I think that's what I was deliberating.
Yeah.
I think they're both great choices.
I think it makes it obvious, though.
I'm going to be honest, Max, you said this so many times before.
Yeah, I know, and I've got it wrong. There's a reason why my vote was taken away.
Here's one thing I'm going to say.
What's that?
I think...
Wait, does Berserker just get it for the boom boom?
Just because a POM is in a certain direction, and you win the same as that, what the overall POM winner is, that doesn't mean you were wrong.
That is true.
Okay, so
that just means that a lot of people were wrong.
No, but I mean, there can be two good options, and then even if the other one wins, that doesn't mean that your vote was wrong.
Oh.
But on some days, there is a wrong vote.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think both Pioshik and Life are correct votes.
Those are good ones. Berserker having a very good performance on this Kai'Sa, but I think a lot of it was due to the supporting cast allowing him to perform, and he absolutely did so. Hype's Jhin performance, didn't like it when it was locked in, didn't like it on the Rift. It wasn't really it. I don't know whether it was necessarily his fault or anything like that. The game kind of fell apart around him a lot. They got that one push at the very beginning, and that was the end of the positives, as it turns out. And it's going to be Pioshik, the man on the horse, is going to lock it in. And a 9-1-9 Wukong performance is, that'll do it.
I mean, I feel like the Wukong, he was really like that early gank.
Oh, yeah.
Set things so heavily in favor. I think both him and Life was such a strong duo together. But I also think like the Hecarim, he was really setting the pace of this one. But I think it was the jungle support duo, super impactful.
Yep, and also was a player in the game the last time Hecarim was played, and then brings it on back again.
He learned from it. He downloaded it.
He did. It just took 4 years to download. So it's not even dial-up.
What are those
at this stage? Yeah, it's like Morse code download speed or something like that. There's someone sitting with the buttons.
There'll be people watching who don't get this. You know what came into the dial-up noise?
Yeah.
Came into my head.
Every time. Yeah, and you have to tell your sister to not make any phone calls during the time, as well as you can hear the crowd. They are going ballistic here as Pyosik is making his way out for the interview, getting ready. And we will have that one for you pretty quickly as well. Man, the DN Freaks, this is so much earlier than the last time they found a victory. See whether they can get even more.
Well, that shows character growth.
It does. It does. And the DN Freaks, unfortunately, not going to be making it to the play-ins, but they can make it out of the Rise group with their heads held high. Time for Ji-sun to take it away for the interview translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun for the POM interview translation, joined by Pyosik on the side of DN Freaks. Congratulations on the win, Pyosik. Thank you very much. First POM of the season. How do you feel right now? Today, well, it was a bummer that we dropped the first game, but I think we prepped the draft for game 2 and 3 really well. And I think our practice kind of showed in the gameplay as well. I'm very happy with the outcome. I have to mention this. Last time in the round 3 of the LCK regular split, there was a huge comeback victory by Bro when you guys were so close to winning. What kind of mindset did you bring today? Let's not lose when we are having a great lead. That was the motto today for sure. And then I think it actually came true today. I'm so happy. After losing the first game, Life subbed in. I think DNF gained a lot of confidence when it comes to playmaking with Life in the roster. What kind of feedback happened after the first game? Ever since round 3, with Odin also joining the coaching staff, on the game days, we should not pay too much time on the feedback, In-game play feedback isn't necessary. We have to focus on the next game, the direction, the drafting. I think that was the main focus. And then in that game too, you went for a level 3 gank on the mid lane as Wukong, and I think that started off the snowball really effectively. In the Annie Aurora matchup, well, I knew that moment Bulldog gets his kill, it would be such an easy laning phase for him, so I saw the angle, and then the follow-up from Bulldog was so on point as well. And then, in Game 3, you locked in Hecarim after 1,132 days. Was that something you guys prepared? I feel like I played it Hecarim when the opponent mid-jungle duo doesn't have any mobility, no dashes. That was something that I was aiming for back in Worlds Finals. And then today, I was able to bring back that memory, and I was like, this is actually a really good Hecarim angle. And that experience really worked well. So it did turn out great in game, right? Yeah, I think everything went very smoothly today because if Hecarim kind of drops the ball in the middle, he can't really make a comeback. But today, everything went pretty good, so I was able to scale well as the Hecarim. Well, Game 3, yeah, for sure. It was very smooth sailing for DNF. I mean, it was a very dominant success from DNF, starting to winning early and closing out the game very easily. Odin gave me an advice, and he said he trusts me no matter what, and I think that really helped me in order to have DNX succeed, you have to do well. That was the advice from Odin. He was just telling me to trust my own decision making, and I think that was the key to make things start to click for our team. With this victory, DNF was able to deliver a lot of happiness to the fans in the audience. You know, we have a very packed Low Park today as it's a national holiday. Any message to the DN Freaks fans? I'm very grateful to see still so many teams supporting us, although we cannot make it to the playoffs no more, but we will still give our all until the very end of the LCK split. Please give it up one more time for Pusic, and we will keep on supporting you as well. And that will be the end of the Pusic interview from DN Freaks, and back to the space. Thank you.